Your court television news starting now.
Welcome and good evening to a special NJ Court News TV court update and announcements and open panel and special guest. It's going to be a night, I'm telling you. So welcome. I appreciate everybody that is joining us this evening. It is Thursday, September the 7th. For a lot of people that got some court dates coming up, it is just one day left tomorrow in the week before we have Saturday, Sunday, then arrives Monday. Yes, Monday. And for 3 individuals, it's going to be a pretty busy Monday, as well as for myself. We've got a few different court hearings that are going to be happening Monday, and we're going to go over those for you. But it is going to be a busy month, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to start off first by saying welcome to everybody. Let me get kind of settled in. Pretty prepared. Just want to make sure I got everything here because we've got a show. I'll tell you that. We are going to be giving you an update as far as pretty much continuing the coverage that are resuming back from where we left off on our last court coverage show. We started off and just mainly discussed this case here, the one that you saw in the title, okay? Jimmy the Christian, a.k.a. James Nichols, okay? Ward. It's a very tricky name because it's a long name. So let me just make sure I said this right. Yep. Nichols Ward. James L. Nichols Ward, a.k.a. Jimmy the Christian. So we are going to continue that coverage today. We've got some important announcements to make, very important announcements. Lot to do with what we got coming up the next few weeks. What else do we have tonight? Oh, we're going to have an open panel. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a special guest start off our open panel this evening. And as you saw, that special guest is in our court coverage, in our title, just in case you're wondering who it is. And so we will be welcoming our special guest here very soon. We're going to get this coverage kicked off here in about a couple of minutes. I do want to give a little bit of time for people to kind of come on in. And while we're waiting for those peeps, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. So let me just jump on the old phone here. Let me see how I look. All right, looking pretty snazzy. Let's fix the hat. All right, looking all right. But let me get my chat up here, and I want to say hello to everybody, especially the OGs. All right, so let's go back up here. Chat. Let's start from the top. Let's see who the first one was here. Who was here first? Who's the real OG? Well, Cool Gamer, congratulations, because you were the first OG here tonight. So welcome. And followed by, oh no, welcome my friend and welcome to one of my mods. We've got Hippie Music Girl. We've got SoCal. Welcome SoCal, another friend, another one of my mods. We've got Super Roofer, one of my homies and another mod. Did I say hi to Hippie Music Girl? What's up, Hippie Music Girl? I see you there. Steph, welcome, my friend. Another OG, member of the jury. Dawson, man, all the OGs coming in first. Welcome, my friend. Member of the jury and one of our newest members of the mod squad. I feel like we're announcing like a basketball game. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your team tonight. No, I'm just messing with you. We've got to have a little, if we're going to have a little fun, it's going to be here at the beginning because this show, it's just like last time. We are going to be covering some, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'll give you a forewarning, very much trigger warning this evening. We've got a few clips to play. We've got a few things we're going to go over. Most importantly, tonight we're going to be, listening in on what our guest has to speak about, and hopefully anybody else that wants to come up on the open panel and, give their opinion on what's happening in regards to this case. So continuing on, we've got Super Roofer. We said hi to SoCal. We said hi to Dawson. We've got Zingbot. What up, Zingbot? What up, Messy Me? Oh, we've got the jury members in here. Welcome. Moho, welcome. We've got Lisa Lynn Marie. Welcome. Mr. Worley, welcome. And thank you. I appreciate the correction there. James Leonard Ward-Nichols. All right. Moving down the line, we've got our guest of the evening. And welcome, Jadis. Welcome in the house. Madame Star, welcome. Shell 97, Candy Cane, welcome. Love in the air, welcome. Hey, if that individual wants to come up, they are more than welcome. They are certainly, we've literally got, I think, 2 people that are not allowed to come up on our panels. And I'm sure you already know who they are. But as always, it is an open panel, so anybody is welcome. Sunflower, welcome. RV Life with DJ Darren, what up? Stuck. What up, my friend? What up, my homie? Let's see here. Going down the line. All right. I think I got everybody. Now, we do got people that are just watching that may not be participating in the chat, and that's all right. And I want to say welcome to you all. All right. Let me get situated here. Got my phone here with chat up so I can see everybody. I can see all the members of the jury. I can see all those emojis you're spamming. Oh, yes. Now, welcome. Let's see here. Kind of how I want to start the evening. Just trying to figure out if I should do some announcements. I think that's fair. I think I'll probably end the evening with an announcement, but let's start the evening with an announcement, okay? Now, one of my announcements tonight is going to be this. I will be providing court coverage as promised. Remember, I made that announcement last time. But I said I will not be disclosing where I will be providing that coverage until the day of. That is still going to remain true, okay? We are going to be having a court coverage episode. This is going to be a live court coverage episode coming up Monday, September the 11th. Where we'll be at, to be announced. But I will tell you this, and this is what you should be excited for. Now, remember, don't hold me to things because shit can change. But unless nothing happens, everything goes as it should. Your boy, NJ Courts, has just received special permission to record said court hearing. Yes, you heard me right. Monday's court coverage will not be, well, it is going to include some of that B-roll, be outside of the courthouse, probably be out in the lobby providing some court coverage. But when it's all said and done, when this court starts, okay, essentially that door shuts. NJ Courts is going to be allowed to be there with the camera filming. Now, I might not be able to bring it to you live. I still got to get those details fixed. Not fixed, but just discussed. But immediately after I am finished with that hearing, as we've always done in the past, I will be releasing that footage. So yes, great news, and I appreciate everybody. Thank you. We will. Where can I get the link to join? Mr. Worley, I'm going to be putting that up here very soon. And anybody else that wants to join up, that link will be going up very soon. We will be posting it up. Everybody will be able to see. I for some of you that might be new to the chat, yeah, I go through like a little lengthy intro, and we're almost done. So then I'll be posting that link. Patience, my friends. But no, going back to the news, yes, NJ Courts will be providing live coverage, court coverage, Monday, September 11th. That's this Monday. Yes, okay? So that's one special announcement. Again, you will know exactly where I will be Monday morning. Till then, you will not know. Now, reason I do that is now because the way court coverage has been, now that this channel's been out, we've got a group of people that may want to do, some bad things. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. So for my protection, my safety, this is kind of what we got to do now. Okay, not trying to keep it as a surprise, not trying to mess around with people. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be going next to e-bagging, right? And how hard it would it be to e-bag? And I'm hoping you guys trust me when you don't know where I'm going, right? But I think I've proven myself a bit, okay? I think when I said I was going to go somewhere, I did it. So if you do want to help with this road trip, you want to help with this court coverage, here comes the e-bagging portion of the episode. Please feel free to donate if you'd like, okay? We have different venues to donate. We have Cash App, we have PayPal, we have Venmo, We even accept Bitcoin. Another great way is through the super chat, which is done through YouTube. Okay. You can also become a member of the jury if you're not a member yet and you want to do a monthly support. It's just $2.99 to join. And there's a lot of cool stuff for the members of the jury to see. As a matter of fact, all these cool emojis you see everybody spamming, those are all members of the jury. And that's access they have to those special emojis. So just saying. But in all reality, I want to say thank you to all my members of the jury. Thank you to everybody that supports this channel. Thank you to everybody that's donated this whole month, because all those donations are going pretty much for this court coverage. I mean, let me just put it this way. Let me show you something that we already just put the donations into, okay? We've got equipment. We've got this. This is pretty cool. Check this out. Yeah, we've got comms now. Check this out. Yeah, we're going all spec ops now, baby. Check it. We've got the communications now. NJ Courts, testing. NJ Courts located here on the east side of the courthouse building. How's the west side looking? Roger. Yeah. Comms now. Mm-hmm. Look at this. CIA shit. Yeah. That's what's up. Check this out. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Sure, a lot of you guys. Whoa! All right, I don't know what happened there or something, but okay, we're back. Some of you already probably saw this. I look like a detective. Yeah, I know the hat does it. We've got now an official NJ Courts IRL speaker. Yes, that's me. Last but least, then we're going to continue, I promise. Look at these babies. Oh, man, and you guys are really going to say, damn, NJ, you're a narcissist now, boy. I had to. Yes, what you're looking at is an official. There we go. NJ Courts magnetic sign that will be applied to all NJ Courts TV official mobiles. Yes. We've got two of them, one for each side, of course. You got to match, okay? Pretty spiffy. See? Look at it. Big old magnet, man. Thing's almost as tall as me. Of course, you guys have met my new friend, right? Gavel number 3. So, and most importantly, you know, we like to have fun, but we've got court costs. We've got travel costs, hotel. I don't eat much. I'll do beef jerky. I got corn nuts. I can survive on corn nuts and water. But, you know, it does cost money to travel. So, again, I appreciate all donations. That's it. We got the e-begging over with. All right. So, welcome again. I see a lot of people just joining. That's why I kind of wanted to give it some time for the notification to go out. So, let's get this show started, shall we? So, I appreciate everybody coming in. Just a few little rules very quick because I know we've got a lot of new viewers that are going to be joining us in chat, okay? Very simple chat rules, okay? We keep it very easy and simple here at NJ Courts TV, all right? Just follow TOS. That's it. Which just, in chat, respect each other, respect your mods. If you want to really go at somebody, hey, I'll be your whipping boy, as I say, okay? But just follow TOS. That's simple. You can have your own opinion. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to delete you. Now, if you start saying all this sorts of crazy shit, doxing, stuff like that, no, that's going to be an immediate... We're going to have one of our bailiffs, lovely bailiffs, may I add, escort you out of the building. And now, if it's just kind of like a little, you know, mistake, hey, we'll give you a little timeout, put you in the little corner for a bit, let you cool down, and then you can come back and chill. But like I said, if it gets to be a second time, or if it's just as bad, bailiff will just escort you out. And remember, it's just the internet. Don't take it personal, okay? But if you just want to have fun, if you don't want to worry about any of that, just respect each other, and that's all you got to do. Simple and easy. That's it. All right, so welcome, everybody. Let's go! All right, so we are continuing the court coverage today on Jimmy the Christian, James Leonard Nichols Ward. Did I get that right? Did I get that right, Whirly? All right, I think I did. So if you joined us the last time we were here, you got to see a few things. We discussed a few things already. This is not the intro to this case now, okay? This is our second episode, all right? So if you kind of get lost, or you're like, hey, I don't remember that, just reference the first time we covered. If worst comes to worst and you have some questions, just reach out to me through Instagram. Hell, come up on the panel. You can ask some questions, okay? But either way, we're going to pretty much kind of pick up and continue on. Now, I'll give you kind of like a little summary. You know how I am. I like to give kind of a little, let's just kind of go back a bit just to remind people. And then we're going to pick up and go. All right. So brief summary. Here it goes. As a matter of fact, let me get a little, it's kind of that time where I need a little beverage. And oh, yes. Uh-oh. NJ Court's going to be a bad boy. Yes. Don't worry. It's just my first one anyways. It is official La Cumbre night. We've got the elevated IPA, so shout out La Cumbre. What am I doing? I'm so rude. Cheers. So to my fellow adult beverage drinkers, and again, if you're sipping on a Gatorade or water, coffee, whatever, raise them up, and let's raise them up to a good night, and for a good weekend coming up. Cheers. Cheers. All right, let me get my phone here. So I got chat up. Got chat here. Oh, which IPA? This one is called the Elevated. Oh, no. The Elevated, a.k.a. the Devil's Beer. Cheers, Jadis. All right, so let's kind of go back. So going back, for some of you that may not know who we're discussing this evening, they have just been arrested, okay? They've just been recently put in the news. This is coming out of Florida. What they were arrested for, let me tell you, child pornography, okay? A lot of serious shit. That's probably not going to be the only charge that they're going to be charged for, all right? The reason I say this is because I did a little investigation of my own, all right? And I'll go into that. But what we're looking at is essentially an individual that was brought into the light, you would say, as far as the IRL scene, the YouTube scene, by essentially becoming, I would say, and maybe, some of our guests tonight are going to correct me because that's why we have them here. Our guests tonight are people that were actually experienced what we're going to be discussing tonight. Now, I'm not talking about what Jimmy did, okay? I'm talking about their experience with Jimmy being part of a cast, I guess you would call it. Maybe you can say it differently and correct me if I'm wrong. Essentially, this was a cast, including this individual by the name of Jimmy, a.k.a. Jimmy the Christian, who joined another streamer by the name of Elisa Jordana, which I'm sure a lot of you by now know who she is. We introduced her the last time we discussed this, and I'm sure a lot of you did some research. You went down that rabbit hole, okay? For some of you that may not know who this individual is, let me just give you a brief reminder. We'll just put it that way. And again, I have no personal beef with this individual. I'm just simply putting out the facts tonight, as we always say, okay? Now, who I don't agree with, not necessarily I have a beef with, but who we're investigating tonight is Jimmy, okay? James Ward-Nichols Ward. That's the individual that we're focusing on tonight. But the thing that's important is you got to say, well, how did this person come to this point, right? How did we get here, all right? Now, if you listen to the last news, and we're going to play a news clip that's came out most recently about this whole incident, there's a reference to the internet, okay? That's why we're covering this. That's why this channel is investigating this now, okay? This has now came as a crime. This is now going to provide court coverage. There's going to be hearings coming up, and this is something that now involves a person that essentially may have committed some of these crimes while they were on the internet. They had a YouTube channel, a YouTube handle. Okay, you get where I'm going here? It's all coming back to the tubes. Okay, it's kind of what we do here at NJ Courts channel. So that's where we got. That's why we're here. Oh no, thank you for putting that $2 trigger warning. Yes, this is, as I said earlier, a trigger warning topic, and thank you for reminding everybody. So, going back to where I said, okay, the reference to Elisa is going to be because of where this individual came from, how they were introduced to the YouTube streets. And we're going to have guests tonight that are going to give a better explanation about essentially what they've experienced, give their opinion on the ongoing situation, and rightfully so, because these people were there, okay? These people met this individual. They know who he is, all right? So we're going to hear from those people, and I think that's very important, okay? Because that's going to give us an aspect that a lot of us wouldn't really get without actually talking to these individuals, all right? We just get that kind of what we hear, what we see on the net. And a lot of it is bullshit, okay? And that's why here at this channel, we try to stay away from that, okay? Yeah, it comes up every once in a while. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't, but we fact check. You guys know me. I like to just present stuff that I can show you evidence. I can show public records on, all right? So, for example, let's get this started. Let's go back to see who this individual is as a brief summary. All right. So, let's bring, kind of figuring. I think this would, I got just so much stuff here. Where to start? How about this? Let's just play the news clip because I know a lot of you already know who this person is. So I think just the best way to introduce this individual again and to give you a little brief introduction of what they've done just by playing the latest news clip that I've received about this whole incident. This is going to be coming out of the state of Kansas is where this news station is. Now, this incident, to clarify, happened in the state of Florida, okay? It's getting coverage in a lot of different states for a reason, because this individual handed over a manifesto to the police. That's what started kind of this, okay? This individual essentially went to a Walmart, parked, and called the police and said, this is what I did, and presented it in a 24-page manifesto. That manifesto is available for the public to read. I will personally not be posting the manifesto here. I will not be posting anything. We'll discuss it, absolutely. But I will tell you this. It is a very disgusting thing if you're going to read it. Trigger warning times 100. And I'll just put it this way. I've started reading it. I have to almost force myself to read it at this point because it is that fucking disgusting. That's all I'm going to say. So don't say I didn't warn you. And again, just like, with the control incident, I will always, and I never have, played that accident, right? The IRL footage from the accident. We've discussed it. And this is one of those other times where I will not be putting this manifesto up. We will discuss it. But if you want to read it for yourself, you can go find it. And believe me, you'll find it. So let's just get started. So this individual pretty much called the police, and that's how this whole shit started, okay? So without further ado, as they say, let's get with the clip.
Child sex crimes that span decades at home, a 24-page manifesto and confession to authorities in Florida led to one man's arrest for hundreds of child sex crimes that span decades, some of which took place here in Kansas. The Topeka Police Department has confirmed to 13 News that detectives recently assisted the Stuart, Florida Police Department with a case investigation that covered hundreds of child sex crimes that span decades across the nation. 61-year-old James Ward-Nichols was arrested in the ongoing investigation. Along with possession of child pornography, Ward-Nichols confessed to multiple crimes. An arrest affidavit obtained by 13 News says Ward-Nichols called first responders to turn himself in and confessed to various crimes. On August 26th, when he told officials that he owns a storage unit here in Topeka with hard drives full of child porn. In his manifesto, Ward-Nichols confessed that he led a church youth group himself and that he had confessed these crimes between 1997 and 2009 to a now deceased priest at a Catholic church in Kansas City.
So that, I believe, that was from today. Okay, that is a news station out of Kansas State. And again, the reason that Kansas has now been brought up is just as you heard in the story, okay? Not California, the Florida, essentially, police are now working with the state of Kansas. They're all their police. I'm sure the feds are already been involved, just saying. And they're now investigating, and I'm sure they're going to be investigating in other states, all these crimes that this individual has testified about, essentially, or, to the police, and essentially is what has been found in the manifesto, okay? That is why this investigation is now landing in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, to be specific. What happened in Topeka was this individual told the police that they had a storage locker in Topeka and that there was other materials of illegalness. It's probably not a word, but you get what I'm saying. Located in said storage locker. Police went, opened it up, and they begin their investigation into it. Now, I plan on investigating more what happened to this. I will tell you this. I will be announcing something a little bit later in the broadcast, and it does have to do with a few things. It has to do with an IRL trip, but most importantly, it has to do with this investigation, okay? And I'll get to that a little bit later. But I am going to be providing more information as to what happened in Topeka because they went there and they probably found some things. And, being that, hey, it's Kansas, I don't know if we're going to get a lot of news or access over there. I might have to bring it to you, and I'll get to that later, and I'll explain myself. But just tell you right now, this has just started, okay? I personally think this is going to be a humongous investigation. I think this is going to go nationally. I'm certain that the feds are already involved. That's what they said in the news. Have I been able to verify that personally? No. But just if you really are curious and you read that manifesto, I think you're going to understand exactly what I mean by that. Okay. Give me just a second here. Just make sure. Okay. Sometimes I get some information sent. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything if somebody sent me. Okay, cool. So anyways, like I said, that was kind of a little intro. We're just kind of continuing on from where we started last time. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you this. A lot of you in the chat say, hey, there's a lot of places, stations already been covering a lot of this. Yeah, absolutely. You just saw a news station cover it. But a lot of times they can't bring you stuff. Okay. They can't bring you a lot of details. Okay. They can't bring you people that have talked or, essentially maybe been a coworker with this individual, right? That's where I think you're going to see a lot of these smaller channels come into play, not including myself. Okay. I know there's already been some open panels. I gave you a link to one last time we covered that has discussed this. Okay. We're all going to have different information. Okay. I mean, it's going to be the same, but the way we put it out might be differently. The way I'm going to be putting out this information, the way I'm going to be covering this investigation is going to be factual, like we've always done. But like when we do with open panels, we certainly invite anybody's public opinion to put whatever, they want to put into this. Now, am I going to roll with that just because somebody says in chat, oh, I heard this? Absolutely not. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to investigate it, and then we'll see. But just keep those things in mind, when we go. But I'm going to tell you this. I will tell you this. What I've already done personally is I did call down. I called down to the county, Stewart County in Florida. It's Florida. Let me just make sure I do got the correct county. I'm pretty sure it is. Let me just make sure. Because like I said, I don't like to give misinformation. So let me just give me a second to verify. Excuse me. See, that's why I wanted to check. Martin County. So Martin County, okay? I called the Mountain County Clerk's office. And I asked him what the next date was for this individual. Now, there is no date. This person's already been arraigned, but there is not a next court date set. So before anybody asks, hey, are you going to be going to the court date? I do want to go to the court date. Absolutely. But there's not one set yet. Okay. And this is what they told me. They said that the DA has 21 days to essentially bring on the charges, present a case. Okay. Now, it's getting close to those 21 days. So I'm pretty sure you're going to see something come out because obviously this is not going to be dismissed. It's going to be dropped. I mean, this individual is being held on a no They can't be released, okay? No bond, all right? Because obviously the judge and the court and the police feel that they are that dangerous, okay, that they should not be allowed to be released. For some of you that are probably more into this stuff, you probably know there are particular reasons why they probably wouldn't want somebody that's put out a manifesto, that's done these type of things, and probably maybe could be possibly do something else bad, right? We don't know. So, no, they're going to keep them in jail. Now, will there ever be a bond hearing? Maybe coming up. But as of right now, this individual is on a no-hold bonds, as they call it, okay? Nobody can bond him out well, we're not going to find out anything till the next case. Now, next hearing, there is not one set. So that's what I'm telling you. That was information that I got. Now, I don't know if anybody else has put that out, but that's information that I'm putting out. So before people start asking, are you going to the court date? When's the next court date? I already checked. I asked. They don't have one set yet, but I'm pretty sure one is coming up very soon. All right. So let me just kind of go up and chat because I know I see some people here kind of maybe asking questions. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Worley. You sure are. And see, that's why we're going to have guests tonight. And I hope we learn a little bit of a background to that, because you got to remember that this individual was just didn't come into this by themselves, right? They didn't just pop into this IRL scene by themselves. As a matter of fact, I think this is probably a great segue into our next video, okay? This individual, now again, this is information that I've received, okay? And I'm hoping that today through chat, through our panel, a lot of this will be verified. And as a matter of fact, I think this is probably the best time to bring up our guest, because now that I'm going to start bringing up stuff that I'd like to, ask a few questions about, I think this is perfect time to have somebody that probably knows a lot more about this than me, obviously. So I want to introduce our guest tonight. And let me actually put the link really quick before I introduce them, because how can I introduce them if they're not even here yet? One moment. I know they're in chat. I've already seen you. I got you, Datus. But let me get you that link really quick. Hold on. What we're going to do is this. I'm going to bring up our guest, our special guest tonight. I'm going to introduce them, and then I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you, okay? I'm going to have a few questions for them. I want to go over some of these clips with them, as a matter of fact. Kind of like a co-host thing, if you guys have ever seen. We don't do that too much, but we've done it before. And then we'll definitely open up the panel so that everybody else can come up that wants to, like I said, put an opinion into this, discuss anything that they like in reference to this, okay? So let me just get this link up for our guest. Hey, what's up, Julia? What's up? And I'm sorry for some of y'all just coming in now. All right. Oh, shit, yeah, Zingbot. You know that very well. Oh, my gosh. They probably got that guy in his own wing, for all I know, Yep, sure will. Oh, I thought you were talking to me, SoCal. Hold on. Let me just get this link sent over to our guest, and then I will be right with you all in chat. Okay, so do this here. All right, so for my special guest, I have sent you that link, my friend. And for some of you that didn't see the title of tonight's show, let me introduce you, our special guest. Our special guest tonight is going to be Jadis. And if I said that incorrectly, please correct me, Jadis, and I apologize. But I believe I got it right. For some of you that may not know who this individual is, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, quite frankly, because it's not. Why should I? I will tell you this, though. they're going to know a lot about what this has to do. They essentially have met this individual, Jimmy. Okay, I would say they were coworkers at one time, if you even want to look at it in that perspective. Okay, and again, I will let them introduce themselves once they come up. But certainly, I am going to go over before I kind of just I do want to hear from them, and obviously everybody else, but I do want to go over a few things and see what their opinion and like I said, kind of ask them some questions as we go over some of these things together. And Jadis, thank you for coming in. Let me get you up here, my friend. And all right, Jadis, welcome. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you doing? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, your audio is awesome, man. You sound great.
Good to be on with you.
So, Jadis, I kind of just did a quick introduction. I just, but I wanted you to kind of introduce yourself. So, by all means, the floor is yours. And what I wanted to do is before we open up the panel, I kind of just had a few clips that I wanted to play with you, kind of get your perspective. I know we discussed one of these earlier, and that's going to be the one that I wanted to play with you. That sounded weird. Sorry. Play and have you take a look and listen with me along. But anywho, please, the floor is yours.
So, my name is Jadis Mercado. I used to be I was the former executive producer and manager of the Elisa Jordana show for a few months, and I have a lot of perspective as to what has been going on with the case. I have been following it since day -1, since day minus weeks ago, because we knew things about this person. Things were being told about this person from this person's lips on the show, and I believe that will be the clip that you're going to show first off. But he has been dropping hints everywhere, and people knew. Elisa Jordana knew. But yeah, so I've been intimately involved with the show since May. I've been producing the show. Before I even showed up on camera, I was producing remotely. So
okay. See, that I did not know that. So that's new information to me. So thank you for sharing that. So remotely, you had already began working with the show, and then you eventually made it down to Florida to meet Elisa personally. Is that correct?
Yeah, to be on camera.
Okay. Now, Jadis, one thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you kind of brought up that is, and the question I had is how essentially did you meet Elisa? How did you get into essentially working for the show? And the reason I ask is because I do have some, and I want to post these up here kind of while you're talking, but I do have some Craigslist ads that I wanted to share with everybody. And I wasn't sure if this was something that you had seen. And that's what,
yes.
As far as how you contacted Elisa.
Oh, no. I'm aware of the Craigslist ads, but we can talk about that.
Sure. Cool. Let me add that here really quick. Let me see how it looks. Okay, cool. It just puts us on the side. So, for example, this is one of them. So for people in the audience, right now what we're looking at is an ad through Craigslist, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. This is going to be an ad through the West Palm. Oops, I forgot I had this in a video form. Let me go here and pause. So this is an ad that's done in West Palm Beach, essentially. And let me just read it to everybody here, just in case it's a little small and you can't see. It says, looking for a collaborator ASAP, West Palm Beach. I'm looking for someone that can help me with my YouTube channel. You would need to be with me starting this Friday to entertain my audience, and I can pay $16 an hour to start. If it goes well, I'll pay more. I have events planned. All you have to do is react to things happening. It's the easiest job in the world if you are easygoing. Send me social media links and your phone numbers. Thank you.
Okay,
go ahead. Sorry.
I could speak to that as to the fact of right now. This is from a day ago. I don't know if it's a screen capture, but these ads have been going up for the these particular ads have been going up since the Jimmy thing, since James Ward-Nichols was arrested, because days after, when all of our community, everybody who was involved, who's intimately involved with the with our community through the chat and whatnot, and people who I know, They have known about what has been going on, and they don't want to be involved. So she's trying to find brand new quote unquote cast members for her quote unquote IRL live stream. She's trying to find new cast members. The grift is always, oh, a new assistant. Oh, you're going to be my new assistant. And then, she sometimes winds up not paying them. Like in the instance of Todd, she had Todd on working with her, paid him a week, $100 a day, and then eventually said, oh, no, I don't want to pay you anymore, and taught him how to do Prism and Power Chat. And it's like, oh, I shouldn't have to pay him anymore. But anyway, she's trying to find new people right now. The Craigslist ad, trying to find new people who have no idea what's going on and bring them into this thing that she's doing. And they're
now. Let me ask you this, Jadis, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. Would this been so? And again, I was not, and I see right there what is posted a day ago. I just wasn't exactly sure when it was posted a day ago. So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, we've been seeing them for at least a week now.
Now let me ask you this: how was Jimmy essentially then recruited? Was it something like this, like a Craigslist ad, or how did Jimmy come into play or meet Elisa essentially?
So
then?
Jimmy goes back to the days of Howard Stern, and he was this Howard Stern super fan type of person. He would call in. He would call into Howard Stern and call himself Claire from New Jersey, and said he was some type of pansexual or some. I'm not sure. I haven't heard the audio of it. I listened to Howard Stern back then, but I didn't. I don't remember. Claire from New Jersey, but he's a super fan. And then he started following Elisa, and if you on the YouTube channel Jim Jalon, the 111 Experience, he has clips going back 8 years recorded with a camera, recording the screen of this podcast, the original version of the original version of the Kermit and Friends podcast panel show that they did. He has on this thing, but he's been a fan since then. Back then he was even he had said at one time, exposed on her show currently, that he would threaten her back then, that he would threaten Elisa Jordana back then and tell her to hang herself with the entrails of her dead dog Kermit. He would harass her. If you could pull up a website right now, if you could Google search internet monologues, internet's I'm sorry, I'll find the link. But it's very.
Just send me the link through IG. And that'll be the easiest way, and then I'll post it up here. While you're doing that, Jadis, let me introduce another guest that we have up here. That's going to be Mr. James Worley. So, hey, James, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Thank you for joining the chat tonight, as well as up here with us on the panel. Just to kind of give some people an introduction, Mr. Worley has been involved with a lot of this. He's got a lot of good information. He's provided some of this information that we're looking at as far as some links and things like that. And I think he wants to speak about some of it. So, Mr. Worley, I'll let you introduce yourself. And if you kind of want to speak to, a little bit about yourself and how you kind of came into this. All
right. Here. Well, some people may know me. Some people may not. James Worley, jamesworley.com. I'm on YouTube as James Worley, Twitter on James Worley, basically everywhere. If you Google and you find the murderer, that's not me. It's just the same name.
Noted.
Right. I'm sure you already have. But I've been following this for a long time. As a matter of fact, when Elisa came into the whole streaming thing back with Captain Content and with Chicken, I caught little bits here and there, because honestly, I don't spend a lot of time watching those drug addict, alcoholic, chain smoke filled tin cans on wheels that do nothing but contain a bunch of derelicts, you know, who should all probably be in jail, my opinion. But that's when she got involved with the streaming, and she had and I had looked up her Kermit and Friends and had seen a little bit of her what she was doing. But then once she was able to finagle her way into the streaming through Max, everybody knows as Captain Content, that's when she came to a little bit more of my attention. And you know, I would watch some of this stuff and see some of her manipulation of naive and vulnerable people around her. But I really did not learn a whole lot about her until one day she was in Clearwater, and I had people messaging me because I guess she just hopped on a plane and went to Clearwater hoping to hook up with Fake Potato and his crew. And that didn't work out. So she was alone by herself in Clearwater. And people were messaging me that she's in Clearwater. She's in Clearwater. Connect with her. Go stream with her. So I messaged her, and she asked me, was I in the area? And I told her, yeah, I'm in Tampa. I could be there in about 30 minutes. She was like, well, we'll come there. So when I went and met her, that was my first time really meeting her. And I wanted to talk to her a little bit before she went live and explain to her some of her issues and why she's having some of the problems with her streaming, why she's getting kicked out of everywhere, and why she lost her job. It's because she allowed that junkyard RV to find out where she worked and park right next to her job and dox her and get her fired. Anyway, it was then I spent about 1 hour with her that day. That was it. And then I ditched her. I hid around a bush when she was talking to some guy on the street. And when she was done, she walked away and was looking for me and couldn't find me. And she was walking down the street, and I'm watching her. She's walking down the street shouting. She had already ended her stream. She's shouting, "Whirly, come out. I know you're here somewhere watching. Come out. Come out and finish streaming with me. I know you're hiding here somewhere." And I just waited for her to get far enough away from me, and I just walked the other direction. Anyway, that's when I started following a little bit more of what she was doing. And
so that was your first real interaction with Elisa, just face to face then? Because I know you've been streaming for a while. So
right.
Okay.
Right.
So she comes from California, just to kind of clarify, California to Florida, Clearwater, just like you said, kind of without no reason. Well, I guess she lost her job essentially, so she might have picked up.
She had already lost her job, and
wanted to link up with Mr. Potato. And for some of you, that I think you're referring to Baked Alaska. Is that who you're talking about?
Fake Potato Grifter. Right.
And so she gets down there. That doesn't work out. So she stays in Florida essentially.
I think she decided, because she was telling me how much she liked it. She didn't see drug needles all over the streets, and she didn't see homeless encampments everywhere. And I started to explain to her why she didn't see that. And she didn't want to listen. She the Democrat brain doesn't listen to anything. All they see is they look at it like it's a football team, a sports team. It's Democrat, rah, rah, Democrat. And they don't want to see the realities. Anyway, so yeah, basically that was it. She didn't want to listen to anything. So she went back to California and decided she was going to move to Florida.
Okay. So she went back. Okay. Got you now.
Right. Okay.
I'll stop right there. Florida. Okay. So thank you for that introduction. And we're going to get back to you, Mr. Worley, here in a second. Jadis, I'm putting up that link here. Just give me a second. I just got it. I just little new to putting up these things and the way we're going to do this here in this.
No problem. I could go a little bit further into background with Elisa. I've known Elisa. We ran in the same circles in the mid to late 2000s on the New York music scene. I'm a musician. Uh, I'm a musician, producer, creative consultant, and back then I was living up in New York, and we'd run into each other around then. I knew about her, and yeah, we weren't like great friends or whatever, but it was like, when you're in school and or when you go to a club all the time and you see people around.
An acquaintance. Is
Yeah,
what I call.
yeah, like an acquaintance in the scene, you know. So I'm not from this Howard Stern thing. I'm not from this Kermit and Friend things. I'm not from this IP2 thing. I know about some of the history. I know about the Howard Stern history and whatnot, but yeah. So I lost touch with that, and I just had earlier in the year or late last year, I went back to listen to a song that I really like of hers, and I listened to it. And I was like, oh, what's she doing now? So I looked into what she was doing. I looked into her YouTube channel, and I saw I looked into her Wikipedia, and I saw, oh, known for Howard Stern show and being engaged to Andy Dick. Which when I read that, I knew who she was already, and I said, yeah, that's not real. That's clout chasing, whatever she regularly does or whatever. Anyway,
I personally is where I started following Elisa. So for people in the chat, to give you my background in this, which obviously I've not worked with this person or met them personally, but I started watching Elisa when she started kind of linking into the whole Captain Content show and the Andy Dick shit show that happened with all that. And I agree. I kind of saw a little bit, I think, of what you saw.
Yeah, because I knew about I listened to Howard Stern. I was like, oh wow, like she's on Howard Stern. Like I already knew her. Like, and yes, yeah, so I looped back into beginning of last year, looking into what she was doing, and I went onto YouTube, listened to a song I like of hers. I saw she's doing this IRL stuff, which I'm not foreign to. I've been live streaming since the mid 2000s on platforms that don't exist anymore, but before the phones even had, before YouTube or any of the phones had access to live streaming capabilities. I'd be in music and we'd be touring around and we would do performances and have a laptop and a webcam and a satellite modem, and be live streaming in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I go back a very long time in live streaming, but yeah, I saw she was doing the show. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I started following it, and then I saw she went to South Florida, which my background, I've lived in New York City and New York, born and raised in New York, South Florida, California, Texas, Mexico. I saw she was in South Florida, and I said, oh, like, and I started watching a bit. I said, I think she needs a little help. So I started reaching out to her and said, I think you need someone helping you with it, to be a producer. I'm available now because who I used to work for was canceled, and my contract was not renewed in January of this year. So I said, you know what? Let me do something that I'm interested in. I saw something in what she was doing, so I said, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna start helping you produce. I started producing remotely before I even got there. Helping with her crew. Like I said about this ad that you have on the screen right now. She's looking for people because nobody wants to be around her right now. Like, there used to be like a crew of more than to where when I first came to be on live stream, we had to take 2 cars because everybody wanted to come out, because I already knew everybody from working with them. I would have conference calls every day, maybe several times a day, talking with the crew. She didn't even want to associate with these people. She didn't want to talk to people. She didn't want to be bothered by them. She wouldn't take their calls even. I had to set up everything. and have these people chauffeur her around, you know, and prompting her during the show, you know, she wouldn't know when to make decisions. I'd say, okay, all right, you gotta get going. You want to make this event, you gotta leave right now. All right, say this to this person, say, you know. So I started producing remotely, you know, about the time few weeks into her getting into South Florida.
And actually, if you don't mind, Jadis, I have a clip I wanted to play that I think, and again, you can maybe, and James, if you want to, you know, hit in on this as well too. But this, I think, kind of may give a little bit of an explanation as kind of what you're going over, which is she was essentially kind of setting up, recruiting people like, and essentially setting up, like you said, mentioned, like an academy.
Yeah,
right?
You're gonna play the commercial.
People how to become IRL stars is, I think, how she was advertising it. So I have that clip that I wanted to play because you were starting to kind of discuss a little bit about, you know, and that's why I want to kind of get into as far as how Jimmy essentially was recruited into as far as being an assistant, a cast member of hers down in Florida. Now, you had mentioned he had been already essentially met her through when she was all the way back on Howard Stern. Is that what I was understanding?
Before Howard Stern,
before Howard Stern.
Well,
so this has been a while then.
When
That
she was on the music scene.
Okay, so about how many years do you think you go back? If you can help me with that, what are we
back to the mid 2000s, late 2000s.
Okay, and thank you. I know you had said some dates, so I apologize.
On the local music scene before she was even in the band Cobra Starship.
Okay, and I've just started reading a little bit about that, so maybe I'll learn a little bit more about that whole band thing. But let's just kind of fast forward then. So Jimmy's known her since then. You know,
Jimmy knew her later on through Howard Stern.
Okay, and so I want to play this clip here then just to kind of show, I guess, essentially, you know, what she was doing while she was in Florida, essentially what she was looking for.
Pretending to do.
This is going to be, I guess, kind of like a recruitment tape, I guess, for the academy. Let me go here to the beginning. And see, I wasn't sure if this was something like, you know, at Jimmy, and see, and thank you. This is where we learn stuff. See, I didn't know when Jimmy came into play to all this, okay? I wasn't sure if, you know, he was watching something like this, and this is what caught his eye to, hey, I want to be part of this. And so I appreciate you giving that history as far back as now we know that this relationship essentially had gone on for a long time. Let's see here. All right, so here we go.
IRL Queen Academy is a community of learners, including students, parents, and staff who are dedicated to creating an academically rigorous, culturally caring, and an inclusive learning environment for aspiring live streamers. We are reaching excellence in academics and changing history on the internet. Together, we are champions of knowledge, our communities.
Okay, and I might not have had the whole thing, but we can get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Who is that speaking on the back? Do you know who that is?
That is Leaf King, her main quote unquote moderator.
Okay.
So
SIMP produce these videos for her. Is that kind of?
He is one of her loyalist moderator / simps, and you know, he's never been seen. He's had chances to meet her and hasn't, for whatever reason, for whatever personal reasons in his life. I'm not gonna speculate as to
no need to speculate.
Yeah, but so I could any other questions? I could explain as far as the origin of the seed at which that comes from, and the she has a song. It's I'm the captain or whatever, and she says, I should charge you by the hour. I should I should charge you by the hour, teach you how to IRL. And I believe it comes from that. And she said, oh, I'm going to, and it goes into Todd Goldfinger. You can look him up on YouTube. He tried to get Todd to 1,000 subscribers. But he used to be her assistant. He saw her and came into the picture to try to be her assistant. And after an unpaid internship, paid him for a few days she complains that she paid him $1,000. She said, "I already spent $1,000 this month on you," and then realize, oh, I'm gonna start a quote unquote school. And James could speak to this in a moment after I finish my point. So I'm gonna start a IRL Queen Academy, and I'm going to teach people how to live stream. She's going to teach people how to use Prism Studio and hook it up to Power Chat, and that's pretty much what she's going to teach you. And then she thinks that you're going to hang out with her, and be her castmate, as an unpaid internship. And and for Todd, that was her excuse for not continuing to pay him, which I've heard she does not. She has an LLC, which the address is not correct on, and I've heard that she doesn't have an EIN, an employer identification number, which is needed to employ anybody. So that is sketchy right there. But yeah, she kind of had the seed from a song and from not wanting to pay Todd Goldfinger and saying, "Oh, I'm going to teach you how to live stream, and then people will pay you that way," in lieu of me paying you what I had said. That
kind of like a switch and bait is what I call that.
Bait and switch. Yep.
Bait and switch. Excuse me.
I will tell you, the first day that she said, "Oh, I'm going to pay you $20 an hour," and I would talk to him this whole time. I was Todd's supervisor. Todd was her assistant. I was his supervisor. She wouldn't talk to him directly for a time, as she wouldn't talk to anybody involved except me organizing this. But so Todd, so she taught Todd how to live stream in lieu of paying him, and yeah.
Now you said, James, did you want to hit in on something here?
He could speak to the effect of the academy,
and that's kind of where we've gotten here. This is why I put this up here. So James, give me a second. Let me just read this really quick to everybody, just in case.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of my viewers that just sometimes can't see it. What this is it looks like a press release, and correct me if I'm wrong. Usually when these happen, it's the person that's putting this out that's giving the information. So in this case, it looks like this was Elisa that had given this press release to PR Newswire, is what I believe.
Jim, I believe that Jimmy wrote this.
Jimmy. Oh, excuse me. Okay, thank you. That's
even though it might be accredited to Elisa, it was Jimmy, because Jimmy was the one who was very obsessed with Elisa and what she was doing. Back years ago to threatening her and telling her that she should kill herself and whatnot. And
so did they just kind of fix the relationship? Is that what I'm understanding? Because obviously,
over the years, I guess. But
right here, I'm going to read this here for everybody. It says, and again, so just to repeat what Jadis had said, is this was written by Jimmy, obviously, to look like it was a press release essentially by Elisa talking about Jimmy. So let me read this to everybody here. So Elisa Jordana, CEO of Kermit and Friends, I can't see a little bit of something, IRLQueen.com and IRL Queen Academy, I would imagine just owner of, or announces the addition of Jim Ward-Nichols, a.k.a. Jimmy the Christian, and Claire from NJ, to her team as Dean of IRL Queen Academy. And then here's how it goes. "We're thrilled to add Jim to our West Palm Beach organization," said Elisa. "We know he'll bring incredible expertise and enthusiasm to his new role, and I'm confident he'll expand our outreach to new students, implement standardized IRL performance evaluations, and ensure that our students are ready to stream on their own following internship and graduation. I look forward to seeing the great strides he'll make as our new dean." Regarding the new role, Ward-Nichols said, "I can't wait to build on the partnership we've had since 2015. As Dean of the Academy, I'll be able to help Elisa expand the franchise and guide new live streamers to achieving success on their own." And then it gives a little bit about Elisa Jordana. Elisa Jordana is an American radio and TV personality, musician, online talk show host, and IRL live streamer. She is best known for appearances on The Howard Stern Show and as a former member of the dance pop band Cobra Starship. Pop band Cobra Starship. Jordana created her own podcast called Kermit and Friends in February 2015, which had a 300-episode run. In September 2022, she began doing IRL live streams in LA, Los Angeles. In the spring of 2023, after moving her headquarters to West Palm Beach, Elisa started IRL Queen Academy to teach students the basics of IRL live streaming. Tuition for the academy is negotiable, and upon graduation, the student will be able to live stream on their own. Period. Whew, man. Jimmy wrote that, you're saying, huh?
Yes, he did. I mean, it's very telling. It's very much the way he would speak, in this hyperbolic way.
I was going to say, because it was her, I was going to say, I mean, it completely sounds like a narcissist, wrote that about themselves, or somebody that obviously
she would
love that person,
She would write something like that to herself. And people in the chat are saying that there's misconceptions about what had transpired between her and I. People want to say someone writing in Dina's name, which I know that's not Dina, says Elisa. Oh, yeah, no, that is Dina. Okay, Elisa's obsessed with Jadis. Other people are saying Jadis should answer if he was scorned by her. No, I wasn't scorned by her. If you look at the last stream I had with her, I went there for her birthday because even 2 months ago, people didn't want to stream with her. She was running people out because we had a crew. First time I was there, when I came in real life, quote unquote, everybody wanted to meet me because I had already been talking and working with everybody, and we had to have 2 cars to go where we were going. So all these people thinking, oh, I'm jealous, that I'm backlashing. No, Elisa blocked me from her phone. The week before, probably because of Jimmy coercing her to. I would have helped her. I would have been the first person to talk to her about this and get in front of this and speak to it and actually hire a lawyer. She did not hire a lawyer. I could confirm. The first thing a person should have done, being affiliated with a person like that, would be to call a lawyer. Yeah, I would have helped her and to get in front of this, but she's doubled down and apologized about things. She's excused it for, oh, there was just something wrong in his brain, and oh, he just had a chemical imbalance. Or to excuse it on mental illness. No, this is very premeditated. All these acts were very premeditated. They were systematic. He traveled around the country to commit these acts, and I could speak further to that, but I will let James speak as to the academy and what the about the legalities of the things that are being stated. If you'd like to speak about that, James, would you?
Okay, I'm here.
It looks like Jadis was just referring that you may want to chime in on something in reference to about the academy.
Right. Okay. So the quote unquote IRL Queen Academy that you see in that press release that Jimmy made up when Elisa quote unquote hired him. Okay, Jadis is correct about the employer number, the EIN number it's called. In order to have employees or to hire people, you have to have what's called an EIN number. That's an employer identification number, and that's how the IRS identifies you as an employee of who you work for.
Right, because you got to pay taxes.
Right. So she has no EIN. She has no legal business in the state of Florida. She's not registered with the Florida Department of Corporations, sunbiz.org, which in the state of Florida, if you are operating a business in Florida, you are required to do that. In many cities and counties within the state of Florida, they also require you to register your business or your company with the city or the state.
Correct.
So that's another registration I guarantee she doesn't have. As for her Kermit and Friends LLC, I saw somebody say it's expired, and that's correct. It is expired. It's no longer current, and it was out of the state of California.
It's not to interrupt you. I don't believe it's expired, but it does have an incorrect address. It has an address in California, which I believe is not valid, and it has a West Palm Beach address, which I know isn't valid.
Okay, I don't know. The last time I looked at it was a few days ago. It said not valid. So,
yeah,
maybe it's not.
I looked into it because I had to forward it to somebody as far as an ongoing separate case, but yeah.
Well, either way, though, she didn't have one, obviously, in Florida, where she's currently.
Right, she doesn't have it. And now, if you've watched any of the stream today, the two people that she interacted with to hire, you see how she keeps talking about, you're going to work for me. I'm going to hire you. I'm going to hire you. You're going to work for me. You're going to be my employee. You're going to be my employee. And all of that stuff is that's clear evidence that she is attempting to employ people in the state of Florida, or as well as the
Craigslist ad.
Excuse me?
As well as the Craigslist ad.
Right, the Craigslist ads, both of those. And she had listings on LinkedIn, and she also mentioned some other hiring website that she found the people from today.
She also uses Bumble Business or whatever, something like that. She uses several different things to poach on people. But if you had anything else to say about that, can continue on what you had to say about that, and then go into the legality of the school itself.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Jadis, for allowing me to continue. So yeah, the school is and in the state of Florida, to operate a school, daycares, they are under the same license. You have to be registered with the state as a school or an educational organization. And of course, you know, she's not done that. She calls it IRL Queen Academy.
And so going back to this academy, and I'm sorry, James, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm more kind of concerned about the kind of with the academy, and as far as, you know, Jimmy's role with that, which is he's a dean, is what it looks like.
And that's what, and what I believe, see, Jimmy was no dumb guy. You know, he was intelligent, but I mean, for somebody to commit all those crimes for so many years and keep it totally oblivious and hidden from so many people, that wasn't a stupid person.
Sure, I agree with that. I agree with that comment.
Now, to fall for her scheme took a little conning by her, and that's what she does. Well, she cons everybody. And now Jadis is going to get angry, and I've already went over this with him, but I'm going to say what I think. And yes, I believe he is scorned because he, again, keeps referring to him as her producer. It was her con. It's all her con. Just like she called Jimmy the dean of her IRL cat. It's a con. None of it means anything.
Just to get to that point that he saying he was the dean, he had absolutely nothing to do with this organization. This organization existed before he was there. This organization, in her own mind, of having a school, was already existence. It was, you know, it was a grift. It's all grift.
That's all it is. The whole thing.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it just sounds like it just reading this in the Craigslist ad, you know. I mean,
well, she does her
if
best.
you're looking for a real job, you're not going to really do this shit. It's just what I'm putting. This
Right.
is.
And she gets people on, and then she keeps them on as long as she used to keep them on as long as she could avoid paying them. And you could
That's it.
You can look back.
She pays nobody. And Jadis will, I believe he'll admit now, the whole time that he was driving her around, she didn't even swipe a card at a gas pump to put gas in his vehicle. Yep. Anytime she can get people to pay her bills at the restaurants, she's going to get them to do it. And that's a woman anyway, but that's not her focus. Her focus is to just grift off of everybody she can. Now with Jimmy was like an open checkbook for her. Jimmy was, and that's what I think, because he even referred to himself on the stream quite a few times that he was in charge of all the finances. He paid
for everything. I'll tell
you. Right.
That's
what I was gonna say, Jay.
Within 2 weeks, he paid $6,000. Within 2 weeks, Jimmy, the first 2 weeks he was there, the first time before he went back and got fired, in 2 weeks, Jimmy spent. It might have been less time. Might have been only 10 days. He spent $6,000 on Elisa and her show, paying for gas, buying everybody meals, buying strangers meals.
Where does he get this? Where is, so if Jimmy's essentially working for Elisa but bankrolling this,
Jimmy was not working for Elisa. Let's just put, he was volunteering for her.
Okay. But bankrolling essentially is what you're saying. A lot of these
bankrolling the day-to-day,
And are you familiar with how he was bankrolled? Because I was familiar with that he was working, and then because of this academy, essentially, my understanding that he supposedly lost a position as an instructor. He was
not an instructor?
Or I'm sorry, whatever he did for a college or university.
Okay. Now let me explain that. And I know what you're saying. Apparently, Jadis doesn't understand what you're getting to. The job he had back in the state where he came from was working for a college. And
I was going to
in his writings, he explained that he was in charge of all of the parking on the college premises. Now, whenever he came to Florida the first time and started streaming with Elisa, he screwed up. And we all know how the chat goes. We know, let's see, you have how many viewers? 120 right now. And I guarantee you that half of them, if not 3/4 of those, are people that are digging, keyboard warriors digging for any information they can find about you, me, Jadis, or anybody, so they can build their little portfolios of information about us. And I know it's true. I'm not going to bring it up. Why? Because somebody is in the chat using a fake name.
Well, we're going to be opening up.
No, wait, hold on. I will let it out. There's a person in the chat. You should block them.
I'm not going to do anything.
Oh, hold on. Wait. Let me explain, and you'll understand why. He's calling himself Michael W. Ripley. That's the man that murdered my mother, and he's trying to trigger me. So I would hope,
James, if that's the case, then I would just ask you to leave the chat. Then, if you're not,
but I'm not worried about it. Yeah, he should, but he's not. He's trying to trigger me.
I'm saying if it's bothering you so much,
it's not bothering me. I was
going to be blocking.
Okay, I was letting you know how Jimmy got fired from his job. It's because of people like that who dig and find information, and that's what they do. And it's a person like that who found where Jimmy worked and took all these clips of things that Jimmy was saying and the things that he was doing with Elisa on the streams and emailed them to his job.
And when he blames things like that on me.
When he went back home and went to work, they fired him immediately. So that's how he lost his job.
So what was said then, do you think, to get him fired? What I mean, there has to be, people can call and say whatever, but there has, obviously a university is going to do an investigation.
The things that Jimmy was admitting on the streams were very disgusting stuff. And he admitted stuff like when he was in college, what he did with his roommate, sexual stuff. He admitted stuff that he was doing on the campus with people he met. And it's those clips that people like the Michael W. Ripley that emailed to the school to get him fired.
Now, in all fairness to that, though, I mean, he did publicly make those clips and make those statements. Is that correct?
Correct, but that's how he got
You
fired.
just essentially emailed the clips to the university is what you're saying. They saw the clips, said it's inappropriate for being a member, or, essentially
out of the code of conduct.
And code of conduct and fired. Okay, got it. So Jimmy gets fired, and then it's my understanding he comes back to Florida.
He comes back
where Jimmy is now a little bit more permanently.
Right. And I only mentioned that about the person in the chat to give you a perfect example of the people that do that type of thing.
Oh, James, I know. Okay, trust me. I've been doxxed. I've had death threats currently about an hour ago done to me by who. So I'm very familiar with trolls and all that, the doxing and all that stuff. So
I can speak something. Okay, I can speak something to the going back. He was supposed to be with Elisa for 3 weeks on a 3-week vacation. As a lot of things go, people could only stand to be around her for so long, and he eventually rage quit because at that time she didn't have a car and they're just walking around West Palm Beach getting kicked out of multiple places time after time after time, getting trespassed from
what's causing this for some people in the chat. Why are they getting trespassed? I mean, if it's honest IRL,
she comes into she comes into these establishments with her tripod selfie stick and her speaker and all this stuff, and a lot of people even think she's homeless. I know she's not, but the way she carries herself, like a bag lady, just schlepping all this stuff. She goes into these establishments. She's walking the street and letting racist text-to-speech and racist donations come through of the most despicable things. Racist thing. I'm sure you could understand what.
No, I am very well aware of what
homophobic things and songs and whatnot, and now it's even going crazier. That's why she's not walking around downtown West Palm.
Now, and let me kind of, in reference to that, I kind of have a question. So essentially, she's doing this TTS, right? It's she's making her money essentially by playing whatever somebody wants to donate. She's hanging around with Jimmy, who's calling himself Jimmy the Christian. Kind of contradicts a little bit of that if you're calling yourself Jimmy the Christian, but hanging out with somebody that's essentially playing, pretty vulgar stuff. I've listened to some of her TTS messages. I'm aware of what's been played.
If we go into the manifesto,
so is that just kind of a essentially just a grift? Then is just what I'm essentially
we realize.
What's the affiliation with the Christian is just kind of, I guess, what I'm asking. I'm sorry.
Okay, so 2 months he would always say on stream, well, he was addicted to drugs and whatnot, and as far as his story, his kayfabe story, if you understand, his storyline angle was, oh, I've been a Christian for 2 years and 2 months, so I've been sober. He went to rehab for a year, which I've talked to a personal friend of his, and we've actually thought about whether that was true or not. So he mentioned a lot about he was a Christian for 2 years and 2 months, and that he was celibate and he didn't do drugs anymore. He's sober, and he's being around Elisa and, buying people drinks and buying people meals and ringing up like $500 tabs and just blowing all his money. And, that was like a front. That was totally a front because he was, if you reference even back to I'm not going to be graphic with this, but I will read a part of the manifesto. I will read as far as July of 2023.
And just before you do, Jadis, like I asked, just don't be graphic with it.
Yes,
Like
yes.
I said, I'm not going to show
I'm
it, but I will allow you to discuss it. I said that. So
yeah. I will just read a little excerpt
that's fine.
just for timeline's sake. So the last excerpt of the timeline, because it goes further into weird things, like supposed stories about torturing a family of 4, supposedly written as a chat log. And it suffice to say, quoting from James Leonard Ward-Nichols' confession, this is July 2023. So this would be during the time when he came to Florida to stream with Elisa. Spent an entire night in the courtyard of St. Mary Episcopal Church in Stuart, Florida, watching satanic porn from I will when I say redacted, that is my redaction. I have
Gotcha. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so I repeat myself. July 2023, spent an entire night in the courtyard of St. Mary's Episcopal Church in Stuart, Florida, watching satanic porn from Sister Redacted, listening to extreme age audio prawn from Jack's Audio and Miss Beatrix, and having 3 intense redacteds during the night. I stunk like BO and dirty ass. Also, a few days before this incident, I took my stinky ass and dirty balls into Sacred Heart Church in Lake Worth. Spent the whole service with my left hand gripping my hard redacted. Even when standing there, got to stare at two hot and effable little redacted girls' asses the whole time. 3 and 4 tops. 3 years and 9 years tops. I redacted while everyone was coming up to communion. It was very hot. A few days after that incident, I squirted redacted in the St. Mary courtyard again. And for the first time in a long time, I was able to abuse a homeless N-word. This worthless piece of shit was sleeping in one of the hallways off the courtyard. I kept walking past him, playing with my boner, which was on full display, asking him, "So, N-word, is there anything I could do for you?" Then I pulled down my shorts, exposing my naked, stinky ass to him. I stuck my finger in my ass and pulled it out. I said, "Want to sniff my shit, N-word?" It said, "You know we be having cameras here." I said, "I don't care. Just let me suck off that filthy N-word cock of yours." The N-word, was starting to get agitated, so I backed off. Then I played the most satanic porn I could find and directed the sound down the hallway to torture this poor soul even more. Later on that morning, I actually went to the service. In between the services, I was allowed to sit in the church and quote unquote pray, which actually meant having my first orgasm, 2 of them, inside of St. Mary's while watching satanic porn on my phone right there in the pew. My ass hadn't been washed in a week, so it had to be noticeably smelly. So this is July 2023 when he started streaming with Elisa. When she still has these clips up. She doesn't need to have these clips up. Her channel is not monetized. she simply wants to keep these clips up of him admitting to committing crimes while he was there.
Can I play a clip really quick?
Yeah.
Kind of just rolling into this, and
Yes.
because I think, especially since
Perfect
this,
time.
yeah, exactly. I
And
think you know exactly which clip I was going to play, so
And
it's
if we could,
perfectly.
and
Go ahead, James.
yeah, if I could just tell you to pause at certain points, I could.
Sure, that's fine. I'm cool
point
with
out
that.
things from the manifesto that he's referencing.
Again, excuse me. I am going to tell everybody now at this point. This is going to trigger warning, like we mods have been putting out in the chat, but I'm going to say that myself. We're going to be playing a clip. I'm going to allow Jadis to kind of, tell me when he wants to kind of stop and give you a little bit of some information in regards to the clip. Once we're done going through that, I am going to start opening up the panel because I know there's a lot of people in chat that do have questions. And we'll just kind of go from there. I just want to say again, trigger warning for everybody here. And please, just in the chat, I know we've got a lot of different opinions and things like that, but just like I said before, just stay respectful to each other. That way you can be participants in the chat, okay? Especially when you're going to jump on the panel, because that's me, all right? So, all right, you guys, let me just get this clip rolling here. And Jadis, you just let me know whenever you'd like me to pause, okay? Let me get that brought up here.
Stories about that family.
Let me just start from beginning. All right.
Oh boy, I wish I could tell some stories about that Family Dollar right there. Holy mackerel.
Family Dollar.
We're in Riviera Beach, folks.
Really? Is that where we are?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so in the manifesto, 2097. I mean, I'm fucking 1997. This is from the manifesto. 1997 to present, masturbated in front of children and old people inside of dozens of Dollar General and Family Dollar, which is, he points out there, Family Dollar stores in Colorado, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Kansas, and Missouri. So kind of maybe back it up to the beginning and just replay it. It's a very short video. So
we're in Riviera Beach, folks.
Really? Is that where we are?
Yeah, we are. It's one of the worst places to live.
Oh, is
ever.
it? It's very colorful here.
We're not stopping anywhere. We're getting right through
here. Is it really bad?
It's
Where's
colorful. It's very colorful. Yeah. It's very, very colorful. Yeah, this was, I did a lot of naughty things in this immediate area.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Holy mackerel. There's a Catholic church over there. There's an Episcopal, there's an Episcopal church right up over here. Yeah. Boy, I was such a sinner. Holy mackerel.
You pause it.
Like, is Riviera Beach like a place where sin is like celebrated?
No.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you there.
Okay. So he says, he points out, oh, I did a lot of naughty things around here, and then he says, oh, there's an Episcopalian church right here, there's a Catholic church right here. This is an excerpt from his confession, or what they are calling a manifesto. Well,
I'm going to ask you to stop there because we've already kind of heard of what he does in the churches. And so I just don't want to have that repeated. Like I said,
just to know that those are reference.
You can go ahead and talk about it, but I don't want any more references.
Yeah, no, I won't talk about it.
I don't want it read anymore. So
yeah, I lived in Stuart, Florida at the time, and routinely stunk up and desecrated.
You're reading the manifesto. Sorry, Jadis. I said if you want to talk about anything, I don't want the manifesto read anymore.
But he's referring to St. George Episcopal and St. Francis Catholic Church. Go on.
So for some of you, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, pretty much what he is known to do at these churches is like you read before. And I'm not going to go into it in details, but essentially it's going to be similar what he does in these churches. And again, I've read this manifesto, not all of it completely, but pretty much what I've read is he does almost the same thing at these churches as what he gets, what's in the manifesto. So, and that's what I'm saying is if he's speaking about these, we can just assume that's what he's talking about or referring to or something similar to that. So then again, that's why I just don't want to get into that.
I apologize.
Reading it direct. No, don't apologize. You're okay. It's just like I said, we've kind of got the idea of it. And like I've already told people, they can go ahead and find that manifesto, redacted or not, and read it themselves.
And that's and this is the time when he's explaining these things that in what I written from the. I'm
going to just continue to play the clip then, and then let's just discuss a little bit afterwards if that's okay with you. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's a place where there were a lot.
We're going to start over the clip then,
that I could do
and then we'll kind of discuss a little bit about that.
Oh boy, I wish I could tell some stories about that Family Dollar right there. Holy mackerel!
Family Dollar.
We're in Riviera Beach, folks.
Really? Is that where we are?
Yeah, we are. It's one of the worst places to live.
Oh, is
ever.
it? It's very colorful here.
We're not stopping anywhere. We're getting right through
here. Is it really bad?
It's colorful. It's very colorful. Yeah. It's very, very colorful. Yeah, this was, I did a lot of naughty things in this immediate area. Oh yeah, holy mackerel. There's a Catholic church over there. There's an Episcopal, there's an Episcopal church right up over here. Yeah, boy, I was such a sinner. Holy mackerel.
Like is Riviera Beach like a place where sin is like celebrated?
No, it's not. It's a place where there were a lot of like innocent people that I could do my naughty business around and get away with it.
But why would you be able to get away with that?
Because they wouldn't notice what I was doing. Without saying anything more, I'm not going to say anything more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, this was like a little trolling area for me back in the day when I was living in Stewart. I would just drive down and have my way with Riviera Beach. And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, I won't go into specifics. I've been forgiven for everything the horrible that I ever did, including being naughty around the poor people of Riviera Beach. I'm forgiven for that. I'm forgiven for everything. You kind of know where you are now?
All right. I'm reading chat. I think everybody kind of got the gist of that. Oops. Let's see here. Apologize. I don't know what I did here. Give me 1 second, y'all. Add to stage. There we go. All right. So I think we got the gist of it. I'm reading chat right now. And I think the reason I play that clip is because I obviously you're hearing, in my opinion, especially now that we know what happened with the arrest and now with the, obviously the manifesto is obviously a confession from Jimmy, saying, he's using kind of a secret word is what I put it. And I don't know. What I was kind of disturbed about that personally was just kind of the reaction from Elisa, I would say. It just seems kind of like I don't care, or I don't know. Just personally would be a different reaction I would have if somebody, just put it this way, was sitting next to me. And if I had no idea what they're talking about, just started kind of, chiming in on some type of conversation that has to do with, hey, I did something bad. And, oh, you see that church and this and that. Go ahead, James.
Have you seen the clip of Elisa the first day that she streamed after he was arrested, where she was sitting at a table and defending him?
No, I have not.
I'll drop that to you right now.
Now I'll take a look at it, but I will say this. I am going to open up the panel, and I do kind of want to start steering away. Now I've gotten a good background, and I understand Elisa has a lot to obviously do with a lot of this situation because of, her relationship with Jimmy and the fact that he was, whether you want to call it working or an associate or a friend, whatever, for her. But, as far as I think we've got a lot, as far as, tonight is what I wanted to cover was getting more into the side of, obviously the court coverage and what's going to be happening possibly with Jimmy and a little background to that and how he, pretty much got to where he was at, how he got involved in this scene. So I just kind of want to backtrack a bit just so I can kind of make sure I'm on the same page. So where I kind of left off that is, Jimmy comes back essentially. He leaves goes back, gets fired, comes back to Florida. That's essentially when we see Jimmy, I guess, getting more involved in this IRL Academy. That's when we're seeing some of these other, I guess, cast members come into play. My question, I guess, or I guess where I'm trying to go with here is just more of just to get an idea of, how essentially Jimmy got involved with a lot of this. Let me ask you this. Jimmy is originally from Florida. I've heard him talk about New York. You guys know?
He's originally from New Jersey.
Okay, New Jersey.
And,
so
and
what is his tie with Florida, I guess, essentially? How did he arrive there? How did he, obviously, we know how he met Elisa, and he met her, I guess, was he already down there, and she essentially kind of ran into him, or did he?
No, like I said, they knew each other because Jimmy had been a fan from Howard Stern and been following her. He has some type of ties to the South Florida area, the Stewart area, which is north of the South Florida.
That is the area where he turned himself in, I believe.
Yes, yes, it was symbolic, and because his grandfather was an Episcopalian, preacher, pastor, whatever they call it in that realm. His father was Episcopalian preacher, and he had mentioned about going there and seeing people, and they remembered him, but he didn't remember them, and that's a little odd, but yeah. So he came back in. I believe he came back after getting fired.
Okay.
So after getting fired, I think that was his point where he knew he was going to turn himself in. I don't know if you read from the manifesto a later part called the Coda, which he talks about turning himself in. I don't know if
I've read that part, and I'm familiar with that.
So that correlates with a day when Elisa wasn't talking to him, and they would go back and forth with streaming and not streaming, and having spats.
So let me ask you this: have you been in contact with her recently after this incident? And I mean, if you don't want to answer that for certain reasons, you don't have to. But
what incident?
Or excuse me, after the arrest, of Jimmy.
No, I haven't. She's blocked me. She blocked me like about
I know you hadn't mentioned that.
About a week before, and then when she believed that when she was told that somebody spoke to me, she doxed me to her audience and put a bounty of $1,000 on me, and has been putting my family members' names out there, putting out addresses that they think are addresses, trying to get me arrested for getting her kicked out of a restaurant. So,
well, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes,
I watched one of the clips where I saw kind of, I think, an incident that I think you're referring to when she's.
So I haven't been able to speak to her. Like I said, like if I had, I would have helped her like get in front of this and and denounce this, and she's just doubled down. And I think, and that leads into what you're going to show from James Worley, I think, next with a clip.
Let me see. So let's see if I did get that clip here, but I just want to see here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share this page here with everybody. Because what I'd like to do is just kind of get more into the portion of just letting the panel open up.
Yeah.
Again, if you guys got something to do, you're more than welcome, to again, if you want to hang out, I would appreciate it. But I do want to open up the panel because I know a lot of people have some questions. They might have some questions for you guys, so that's why.
I would like to clear up a lot of.
Sure, but and I do want to kind of, like I said, I do kind of want to put a little bit of moderation on just the panel bit. Again, it's not my style. I'm pretty like open as far as freedom of speech, as long as we're sticking, to TOS, obviously, and to the point. You know what I mean? I think we've got a lot of information in regards to, the history of Elisa, as far as, how she's made her, since existence essentially in Florida and what she's doing with the academy and everything. One question I had, though, was just personally with you, Jadis, because I know you had worked with her, and I know, James, you had met her and had kind of a little, I guess I wouldn't even call it a collaboration at that point, but, just.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it that. I do want to say before we go that a lot of people.
Go for it, James.
A lot of people have made a lot of assumptions. Oh, he's a simp for her. He's this, he's that. He called into her show many times. Yes, I've called in many times. But if anybody goes and checks the clips or checks the videos, you're going to see that I called in to call her out on her manipulation of people, on her taking advantage of the homeless, on her using everybody, not paying people. And that's what I did because I knew it was wrong what she was doing. And there were a lot of people in the chats that enjoyed that I did that because they agreed with me. They agreed that what she was doing was wrong. What she did to Jadis was wrong. What she did to all of them was wrong. And that's it. That was my, she kept bothering me, wanting me to come down there and stream with her, And I kept telling her, sure, I'll do it. You have to send me travel expenses. We're going to stop every hour on the hour, and you're going to cash at me the money for that hour and pay me to continue. Of course, she's not going to pay anybody, and I knew that. So yeah, and I probably would have wound up just going down there and exposing her and walking away, and then doing my own stream for the rest of the day.
Sure.
So that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Well, James, I want to say thank you. If you're going to be out for the rest of the panel, if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to, but I appreciate all your information. This investigation is going to be going further, obviously. That's kind of what my channel specializes in, is pulling a lot of the records. I will tell you this, I'm going to be heading to Kansas. So I'll be getting in a little bit more of that further into the stream, but I will be heading to Kansas, and I am planning on doing a little investigation while I'm down over there into, the matter of this storage locker that was, essentially raided by the police. And based on what I've heard, obviously there was a lot of evidence found. So that is where I'm going to continue my investigation in this. I want to say thank you for all your help and information. Again, if you want to hang out for the panel, you're more than welcome to. Jadis, I had one question for you, man. So when you're working with, obviously you were down in Florida, you're there with Elisa. You obviously spent some time, when she was doing her IRL thing and with Jimmy. Is that my understanding? There were obviously times where you guys, nope. Okay.
I actually stepped away because I stepped away. I was still producing. I was producing remotely, but yeah, there's some things that are scripted on the show, and I would be on the outs, so to speak, but I was still involved in the show. I just didn't want to be around Jimmy.
And that's where I was going with it. What was your personal opinion when you met him, or when because obviously,
so it was a secret for him to be there. The last stream that I'm on, that I appear on, is her birthday, is on her actual birthday. I'm there because no other people who were her actual friends. Jake showed up, but she doesn't have many friends. Let's just say, and that but yeah, the last stream I was on was her birthday show. I told her I couldn't. She said on that day, I want to work with Jadis full time, with meaning she wanted me to be there every day, and I told her I was only coming in for the day, and I went back home. She wanted me to stream with her the next day, and I said I have to go back. I gotta go back home because I have cats that I just left that I need to feed, but nobody to take care of them.
Right. Now I know how that goes.
Yeah, so she kind of turned on me the next stream, and that's something she doesn't connect with the audience. For people who are into the live streaming and stuff, and it's like that's something. It's like it doesn't make sense. A lot of things don't make sense episode to episode if you're not in the Discord, if you're not in the chat, because a lot of drama happens in between the shows in the Discord. Used to in the Discord, and now her Discord is like been purged. There's been over when I last heard, over 500 people either were banned or just left her Discord server, because the feds are in there now. The feds know about it. Jimmy was in there. CP was, I have heard, been posted in that chat room, you know, they're gonna get the chat logs from day one. You know,
well, I'm sure if she was one of the last people to be hanging out with him before he turned himself in, I would say the feds are going to be, or somebody's going to be wanting to sit down and talk to her.
The police know it exists. They were let known about it because it is kind of esoteric like thing, you know, to look into. But James Ward-Nichols also gave them his computers, gave him 2 computers. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of stuff in those computers. You know, he's not a person to have delete things. So he left a huge digital paper trail through his phone, through his computers. So, but yeah, people are in that Discord. There are feds in that Discord server right now, just to let you people know who are in there. So, before
I would imagine so. I'm, you know, with the way this case is going, I honestly think this is going to be getting, you know, with a little bit of time, I think there's going to be a lot more sadly and disgustingly exposed about this individual. Just personal opinion. And, you know, it's kind of the reason why I'm heading over to Kansas to continue this investigation, and anywhere else. You know, again, this was a multi-state investigation at this point. And, you know, who knows what the hell else could be involved with this individual. Back to my question, though, Jadis, did you ever feel when you know, obviously, you know, obviously you said you didn't have a personal interaction with him as far as working together, but as far as
working together personally, no, but I've talked to other people. I didn't know who he even was. I saw him in the chat. I wanted to bring up this article, you could read it on your own. You read it on your own and maybe bring it up later. This internet stalker revealed. I guess I could just summarize it to where.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
So Jimmy came on a show a few months ago. Offhand I can't remember what the exact date was, but he talked about that this was a surprise. He was coming in, and only the 3 muses knew about it. He was very much into this numerology and this like esoteric stuff. There's a document that you could find if you look up Jim Ward-Nichols. It's in Google Docs where he talks about a holographic multiverse. That document was updated the day of his arrest.
Okay. I'll check into that. I'm just writing that down here.
Yeah, Jim Ward-Nichols. It's in Google Docs. Holographic multiverse. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, later. Please. No, thank you.
But yeah. So he came on as a surprise, and then he said, "I'm gonna dox myself. I'm Jim Ward-Nichols. You know, I'm Jimmy the Christian. I'm Jim Jalon from the chat. I had seen him from Jim Jalon. I'm Claire from New Jersey. You know, I'm all these pseudonyms. And yeah, I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna be, you know, producing, and I'm gonna be producing the show, which means like giving money to the show, and you know, in his eyes, and So he came in and he said, "Oh, this is the first instance of I'm doxing myself." Where Jim Ward-Nichols. So this is an article that goes back to August 31st, 2007. Long time. It's called It's on the Designer Monologues. People could find it. The title is "Internet Stalker Unveiled," and yeah. A neighbor, I'll just summarize that. A neighbor was talking about generally making me making disturbing revelations on how he knew about where I lived, where my daughter went to school, etc. I report these emails to the LPD. So this woman was getting emails and stuff from somebody saying she's worthless. You know, well, I know who it is now. It turned out to be my neighbor, this unhinged MFer who has
just summarize it. I don't want you reading it, man. Sorry.
Anyway, his name anyway, her internet stalker the whole time was her neighbor, and his name is Jim Ward-Nichols. He's an effing nut job. I'm more than a bit freaked out. So going back to 2007, his name was out there as other people realizing, this guy was a little off and that there was other things going on. So
okay. Well, thank you for sharing that link and that information. And please send it to me, and I will definitely take a look at it, and I will share it if I think it's going to be obviously something that will be important to the investigation. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do then now is I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel for everybody. Let me just go ahead and post the link here. I'm going to pin it up. I know there was a few people I know that I've already been contacted by that wanted to come up, so let me just show this. Let me pin this. And then what I'm going to do then is just give it about a minute, and let's see if we have anybody else that wants to come up. And like I said, as long as we're sticking to the point, or excuse me, discussing something that has to do with this evening, you are fine to come up and discuss. If you have any questions with me personally about anything else, like it's nothing to do with this, just hit me on the DMs. I'll guarantee you, I promise you, I will answer those back to you.
So something I would like to do is to clarify a lot of rumors that have been going on amongst the community and the chats on different people's YouTubes. So if anybody would like more clarification to certain details, not no graphic details, of course, but there's a lot of speculation as to who was who and what was what and what was actually going on, and I could shine a lot of light about that in the research that I have been doing, speaking to people who actually knew him personally and who know his family. I'll tell you this, that his brother and sister. Yes, thank you for showing that. I had, yeah. Thank you.
What's that we're looking at? What is that, James?
That's Elisa Jordana's current stream. She's talking to an older man.
Elisa right now is live trying to manipulate an old man sitting at the bus stop across from her apartments. Live on her stream right now. This is what she does.
Okay. NJ, Dina.
Yeah.
Dina,
I see Dina up here.
Bring Dina up.
Now, Dina, obviously, you know her voice, so you're going to know that this is the real Dina because I'm not able to confirm.
Yes, I can confirm.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Dina up. Hi, Dina. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Okay, hold on a second. Should I end the other show that you're on?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. That way we can hear you a little bit better. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying. I'm kind of...
Take your time. No worries.
Yeah, so Dina is actually a personal friend of Jimmy's.
Okay, great. I was reading a little bit about that in chat.
Yes.
So, and I know Dina wanted to come up and speak about some things. I think she just left, so maybe hopefully she'll join back here in a second.
She's been involved with Jimmy, and she was involved a little bit in the Kermit and Friends show. She didn't really like it. She didn't really know what was it was about, but Jimmy insisted she be involved. Let me try to I'll try to send her a link. I'll tell her to come back in. But yeah, she's a person who has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine anybody that's obviously been a friend with an individual that long would certainly have a little bit more information.
And anybody else who would like to come in and has a question as to speculation and a lot of hearsay that
well, I kind of have a question for you, and again, more like a personal question. I think is do you believe that Jimmy at some point, because let me just start with this. So it's my understanding that Jimmy gave multiple copies of this essentially excuse me, I'm having a little brain fart.
copies of the confession to multiple sources.
Correct. And one of them was Elisa, is my understanding.
Yes.
Now, this would have obviously, I mean, I guess, and you're going to, and see, that's why I don't even want to speculate, and that's why I would just rather ask the question. Do you think she knew prior, I mean, had a clue, your opinion, what was going on? I mean, she knew the history of Jimmy, and she, prior to him getting arrested, confessing, that she had somewhat of an idea of who he was, his history, his background?
It was widely known that he was into like the scatological aspects of of things.
And I'm kind of just familiar sized, unfortunately, with that. So
yeah.
Okay.
So I could actually read. This is from
no more reading. I know, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop that because people can
this is nothing graphic.
Okay, if as long as there's nothing graphic, then
this is okay. So this is a screenshot of Elisa's phone. Jimmy texted her at 12:38 local time. My confession is in your inbox. I'll always love you. Just remember that. And then Elisa replies, "Okay, thank you." And then Jimmy replies, "It's all the horrible crimes I've committed since 1979. Today was the day for me to confess. I'll be in custody later on today. For sure, just remember, I love you. You will be in the national spotlight when this is a typo, but I think it's you will be in the national spotlight when they fully unpack who I am." So he's thinking that this is going to make Elisa famous.
Now, Jadis, I have a question about that text.
Yeah.
That had to have been Elisa that screen captured that text and shared it in her Discord.
Yes, I know.
Had to be.
Yes, it was. It was leaked to me. And I will send it to
it was leaked everywhere. I saw it too.
Yeah, I'll send it to NJ.
Why would she screen capture or screenshot that text and just put it in Discord for everybody to share? It's ridiculous. She just wants the attention from it. That's why. It has to be.
You will be in the national headlines when they fully unpack who I am. That's sick. Welcome, Dina.
Hi, Dina. So thank you for answering that. And thank you, Jadis. And Dina, welcome back.
Hi, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Oh, yay. I'm sorry I'm such a fuck up with all this technical stuff.
Hey, don't be sorry. Trust me, I'm barely learning it, so no worries. I
don't understand right now. Are we on the show or not on the show?
Yes, we're on.
You are on the show live. So, Dina, if you want to give an introduction about yourself and your relationship or how you know Jimmy, the floor is yours.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? I met him, I'm going to say maybe close to 15 years ago. I'm guessing. We were both Howard Stern fans. And through some kind of chat, Howard Stern thing, and then he has family like about 20 minutes from where I live. So, we eventually made up, and he was definitely out there, very strange, but we kind of connected, and I had him over maybe twice. I've been to his brother's house. I picked him up from there. We had a favorite diner we would go to. This was just a few weeks. Actually, I was with him for lunch a few days before the first time he flew out to Florida to be streaming with Elisa, and he lied to me, and he even lied to a family member who drove him to the airport. The family member thought he was driving him to catch a plane back to Boulder, but he didn't even tell that family member he was secretly going to Florida to be with Elisa.
And he was flying out of New Jersey at that time?
No, here in Baltimore.
Baltimore, okay. Back to Boulder where he was working at the university.
Yeah, but he never went back there. He went, this is while he was still employed there. He had a vacation, and it was supposed to be just be here in Maryland for like 4 or 5 days, but he kept it secret that the vacation was like another 4 or 5 days. And that was the first time he went to stream with her. And then he kept saying to me, like, I hope they don't find out. I hope no one from the school watches me on Elisa. And I'm like, I don't think anyone there would be watching this dumb stream. It's kind of an inner circle of people. You have nothing to worry about. Well, ends up that some troll reported him to the school, and they found out about him carrying on live on cam about being a pansexual and getting pretty graphic. So they fired him, and that's when he said hell with it and moved to an Airbnb temporarily. He's a drifter, and it kind of all makes sense in hindsight, but he's been in multiple states. Like, he's the type that lives out of suitcases, and he'll change jobs. He's very intelligent. He gets like good jobs, and like he'll, okay, I'm fired. I'm going to move to this state. I'm going to go to this state. And I kind of see now in hindsight, maybe he was running from just certain crimes and stuff, maybe, but.
And why he had the storage locker.
What would you say? Why?
I'm kind of curious about that too. Are you familiar with the storage locker that was in Kansas?
Oh yeah, he talked about that all the time. But
so part of his numerology, the zip code of the storage locker is 66609.
Yeah,
Um,
and to where when you do move around, you need to.
And I'm sorry, Jadis, where did you find that out? That's just where I like to have factual information.
So the day the manifesto came out, we were in our community, we were looking through it, trying to find out, is this a troll? Is this even real? Is any of this even real? So one of the things that could be confirmed is, does this storage locker exist? And I called on April 8th and on April 26th, when the day even before he was arrested, I called the storage unit and confirmed that it was rented to one Jim Ward. So I confirmed that storage locker existed. So that kind of let us know, yeah, this is real.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy also admitted that he chose that area. He moved there because of the zip code.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
No, go ahead. It sounded like you were going to speak about that with this. I guess why he specifically chose to move there because of the zip code.
Oh, to Jadis, you mean? Because I never knew about the zip code. That's all new to me.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I know nothing about the zip code or that had anything. He was
the way he was a transient. Like when you're a transient, like you need to keep all your possessions one localized area.
And that's all I thought it was. Like, okay, he's got some
furniture,
I see. Possessions, he's got, like, it made sense to me. Like, I would never question why someone who's so transient has a storage locker. You got to have somewhere where you keep your.
Had he ever had any connection to Kansas, though? Any employment there, or it was just a random place he picked to have a storage locker?
He did live there, so I guess he had to have had some kind of job there or something. That did keep him there a while. I can't tell you specifically.
That's fine. I understand.
But he had something there that he did live there. And some places he would live, he'd go back and forth. Like, he just was like always going back and forth. And, as recent as last month when we went to lunch, You know, like people say, how could you not know? Well, guess what? His family didn't know. Like, how would I know? He never confessed it to me, and he always acted really sweet. You know, he kind of had a crush on me in the beginning, but then he understood there was going nowhere, and he was very nice. I mean, and then he got mad at me a few weeks before he turned himself in because I was telling him that Elisa's treating him like shit and using him for money, and you know that he shouldn't, and you know, be with her because she's so nasty. Talks about him, and then August 3rd is my last correspondence with him, where he just said, "Dina, if you can't support me, then I have no use for you." And then he said, my family doesn't like you anymore because you don't support me, and they do.
No,
Well,
I have a question.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when he was talking to you about this and about the money to Elisa, was that at the lunch you mentioned?
No, I never knew he was even going to go to Florida. He kept that from me. No, he never talked
Had
about
had
money. I
had
saw
he
it live.
had had he mentioned to you anything about him possibly co-signing for her to get into that apartment, or co-signing for her to get that vehicle, or giving her money for the down payment for that vehicle she's driving?
Um, no, but he didn't admit to any of it.
The lease
But
would have been way before he came into the picture.
Well, but I 100% do believe, aside from everything, we saw him spending a few hundred on her live on stream along with a few hundred other people. I strongly believe that part of her defense of what he does, I think a large amount of money was somehow dropped to her within a few days of him turning himself in.
Yes, I believe that too. And
Yeah.
because she did mention that she put money on his books on one of her streams.
Oh,
Now, how much? We don't know. You should be
yeah.
able to get the Freedom of Information Act request on that also, to see what phone calls she's made to him while he was in jail, or what phone calls she accepted, and what money she put on his books.
It's an ongoing investigation, and I think that's not available. Would I be correct?
I agree, but I think if anybody, NJ Courts would be the one,
Yeah.
because he's got so much experience in pulling those records. I think
So-
he would be the one to get it.
Well,
I'm going to be pulling a lot of records this week. I'll just leave it at that.
Good.
So,
Well, the thing is, he wasn't really rich like I even thought he was. Because when I spoke to a certain family member the day after his confession, and I told him how much money he was spending on her, he said, "What are you talking about?" And I go, all his money. And he said, the family member said to me, "He doesn't have money. He's broke. He's been going downward spiral the past few months."
So
He
let
did make a claim.
let me pause right here. So a lot of people have been speculating that he had an art collection worth hundreds of thousands.
No.
We're speculating that there was a family house that was worth, probably millions. There was a speculation that he had a 401k.
He probably did have a 401k because he's had decent jobs, but I don't think
so
if
he
you
could have
go to jail, you can give
so
that
he
to
could have
a-
cashed that. He could have cashed that out early, and he did claim when he had left Elisa the first time that there was a condo that was in Florida that he had to deal with selling, that what was somehow belonged to him through family.
Well,
Now,
his parents.
We'll show the video of that because you saying it, a lot of people have said, "Oh, I've seen this, I've seen that." It's a 7 to 10, 11-hour show. Like, you could say whatever you want and people won't pull the clip.
He survived a lot. I don't know. His family, they were in a nursing home right down the street from me, and
Right.
yeah, the family owns something, but he has another brother. I don't know what came of that. I know he's never owned anything.
That's here in Florida, correct?
No.
The house that they owned, I'm not even sure because they were in a home.
James,
last year.
James. She's speaking about when his family, when his parents were in nursing care. Am I right, Dina?
And
You're
some things
you're
happened that I
you were
don't.
speaking about when his parents were in nursing care, right? Not about a condo.
Well, of course, but if there was a condo,
Thing.
it would have been to him and his siblings control to sell it if they're in a nursing home or if they passed away,
Yeah,
which I don't know.
Well, either way, it's just the fact that you're speaking on, Dina, is the fact that there was some money passed, is what you're saying over from
about it how much, but I do know for a fact that his brother told me he was broke, so he did spend his money on things like he was in a Christian rehab for like almost a year, not working. I know that cost him a lot of money. All the money he spent on Elisa. His brother said he was broke. I found that shocking, but he was, and he was basically using his credit card, knowing he was never going to have to pay it, to buy Elisa everything. Someone asked me about if he bought the car. Who knows? He probably did give her withdraw 5,000, I think, from it. I mean, he never told me.
The amount is like the amount that Elisa had to pay was like $800 something.
Oh, okay.
It had to have been more than a $500 down payment with the way her credit was.
She put down a $500 down payment, and the rest was like fees and whatnot.
Yeah, I have no proof, but I think he did drop a lot of money on her, more than she's telling us to buy her silence the way it is. I think is a hell of a lot more than free dinners and gas in her car.
Right. He did claim one time on a stream that all of this experience around Elisa, that he had spent over $30,000.
Wow, I wouldn't be surprised, and that's why he's broke. Yeah, I mean, his family members said, because Jimmy would say, "Oh, my family hates you," and I'm like, "Really? They liked me a few weeks ago. Why do they hate me? You don't support me having the time of my life with Elisa." And then I found out when I spoke to them, they said, "Dina, we thought he was going crazy the past few months with this Elisa woman." And they said, "You're the most normal friend and the only normal friend we've ever met in his life." And I said, "Oh my God, really?" He said, "You guys hated me," which I didn't really believe, but I didn't know. And they're like, "No, we've been going crazy over, how he's been acting unhinged and, with all the money and everything. And he's got nothing. But, I think a lot more is involved. I'm not accusing her. Just like I don't want people accusing me of knowing about his crimes while they happen. That's silly. I don't think that. I mean, she wasn't even born when he first started doing the crimes, So I don't think she knew about that, but I think once it came out.
He did tell her. But she didn't pick up on it.
Oh, you mean in that clip?
And other things. But going back to going back to harassing her and telling her to do something with her dog to
well, he said things like that. You're right, but I think, like, even with me, you don't really believe someone is needs it or is doing it, or like I mentioned once about my parents, and he told me, he said we should kill them, and he was talking about my parents because I don't get along with them. And
Jimmy said that?
He did, but in hindsight, I realized that. But at the time, I was like, ha ha, like, I didn't know he really. I'm not saying he meant it, but now that I know how he is, I think if I had pursued that avenue, I think he definitely would have helped me, because he got very emotional over how bad they treated me. So nothing ever happened to them, but in hindsight.
Can you speak to I know if you wouldn't want to let her, but speak to the effect of something we talked about as far as the nursing home, if you would like.
Well, give me 1 second before we get to that. Dina, I know that there was a lot of questions coming up, and I know you were kind of saying something, but I just want you to make sure that you're finished with what you were trying to, as far as your story or what you were trying to explain before. We started kind of asking questions. So,
I'm so scatterbrained over all this. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so sick over it. I don't know. Half the time, I don't know what I'm even.
So, Jadis, your question that you were referring to Dina as far as the nursing home is your question.
She knows what I'm talking about because me and Dina talk.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is leave that between you guys because I don't want any stuff that has to do, personally.
No. But will you speak about the nursing home?
Am I allowed to?
That's what I want to. What does the nursing home have to do? Just if you can explain a little bit.
So I'll tell you the basic. I won't say the
please. Thank you. That's what I. Thank you.
Yeah, I won't get graphic, but the basic thing is that being the drifter that he is, his parents were both in the local nursing home here. It's also like it's a retirement / it has different divisions.
Assisted living facility.
Yeah, but his mother was really far gone, so she was in what's called the memory care unit, and his father was doing better, so he had his own independent little apartment. Well, Jimmy, for like almost a year, maybe 9 months, he moved in there in the tiny apartment and slept on the couch. That's when I saw him a lot because he was right down the street.
Now, is that here in Florida? Where is that?
In Baltimore, near where I live, here in Maryland.
Okay. Thank you.
Because that's where his family lives and that's where his parents ended up. And anyway, so he was there a lot, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say the other stuff.
Well, just as long as it's not breaking TOS or doxing or anything graphic, I'm okay with it. But
Jadis,
you could say.
Well, I'm just gonna say this in the most polite way I can.
I appreciate that.
So we all know that someone who does the kind of things he did could potentially be a murderer of humans. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. And I won't say who it was, but someone did die there under his care. Yeah.
So this is out of Baltimore, though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's enough said. I understand where you're going with that.
I'm not saying I don't know. I think the police are investigating it. That's all.
And that's perfectly fine. That's why I just wanted to make sure. Because
I'm not going to press on that, but was Jimmy maybe a beneficiary to any type of policy or properties or anything to that person that died?
Oh, he could have been, but see, he was known in the family for not being the stable one, where his brother was stable. So I think anything would have really been left to his brother to kind of decide what to really do with things. In my opinion, I do not know that as fact.
Okay,
he's had his clues, but yes, he would have been. Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, I just don't know what or anything. I really don't know anything about it, but I just.
But to go back and summarize, Jimmy lived in an assisted living facility for 9 months to
on a tiny couch.
Having access.
What was he? And he wasn't doing anything at that time. Then just
having access to vulnerable people.
He was near vulnerable people that didn't know where they were half the time. So that's my point. That's all.
Got you. I got you. I got you.
And I got nervous about that.
No, you're fine. No, and it's it's obviously the subject's cut. Where I'm everybody's different, so it's people are going to react differently to certain things, but I just do want to kind of keep it as far as because people can read this themselves honestly or find out a little bit more, but I appreciate you just not getting in any super graphic details.
I want to say anything I don't know,
and I don't want you to say anything that will get you in any trouble or uncomfortable. So by all means, Dina, Did Jimmy ever contact you after he was arrested? If you want to speak on that.
No, he never did because he turned on me about 3 weeks before that. In fact, there's many streams of Elisa's where he yells at me and he buys her food and he says, "Look, Dina, look at all the money I'm spending." He was going crazy. "Look at all the money I'm spending on her. Ha ha. My family loves it." Like, I don't know if you guys remember watching it, but he would yell at me on the streams. He went totally weird and psycho on me once he turned on me. And no, we never talked since then, except on the show. I would call in and be like, "Jimmy, you're a piece of shit. I can't believe you turned on me." And then I pretended I was chumming him up to Lisa. And because I was so mad at him for treating me that way. And I said, "Lisa, you know how I called you a user and all you care about is money?" I said, "You know what?" I said, "Use this motherfucker for every penny he's got. He's just not. You do it. You do whatever you want with him." And then I kind of called in a few times and just would badmouth him because of the fight we had and how he cut me off for telling him I didn't think it was a good idea that he moved to Florida and let Elisa take advantage of him. And most people be like, "Thank you for looking out for me."
Sure.
He went crazy on me. "You're done. You're done. You're not in my life." And
Yeah, Jimmy did make claims on the streams a few times that it's impossible for me to run out of money. I have so much money. It's just impossible. I can spend all the money I want to.
yeah, I don't know. I just know what his family member told me because I thought the same thing. I thought he just, he has no children. He has no real. I just figured he had a lot of money saved. I think for a while he did actually, until he started going crazy spending it.
What was if you don't mind me asking, what was your reaction when you found out about the news?
Oh my God.
I mean, being that you're a friend with somebody, I mean, I could just picture myself being a friend, with somebody so long and finding, I mean, just seeing, I mean, let me ask you this. How did you first find out? Let's just start that way.
Well, believe it or not, me and Elisa kind of were talking. She turned on me the next day. That's why I talk bad about her. But Elisa, were talking when it happened, when she got the manifesto. She was live on her stream or in her chat room, bunch of evil trolls in there. And she says, "Oh my God, Jimmy just sent me something. Oh my God." So I called her and I said, "What the hell's going on?" And she goes, "You won't believe what he sent me. I just read the beginning." I said, "Send it to me." So she sent it to me. So within minutes, now probably thousands of people have it, but I never sent it to anyone. But she sent it to me, and I read it, and I just got through the first page like a lot of other people. It took me about 4 hours to finish reading it. I had to take long breaks.
Yeah.
It was horrifying, and I didn't feel empathy towards him. I felt hate in my heart from him as soon as I read it. There was no more my friend Jimmy, and not just because he had turned on me a few weeks before. It was just like, what kind of fucking monster does this? Who the hell was I friends with? Who is this piece of shit? He met my kids. Never was alone with them. I'm not that dumb, but he was in my house. He was in my car recently. Like, was he shitting his pants and coming? Or like, I'm like thinking all these gross things because he never smelled or anything. And he always acted really nice. And, but that all went out the window. As soon as I read what he did, he was a monster and I wanted him to burn in hell. I have nothing. I will never defend him like Elisa. I will never say the things she said. I would never take one of his jailhouse calls if he ever calls me. I will have nothing. I'm going to soon just forget he ever existed in this world. He was an evil force that I don't know how. I can't believe what he did.
Did it shock you? I mean, did you ever, I mean, I'm not even saying some of the stuff that you read. I'm just saying, did you ever feel that he was a bad person? I mean,
no, I didn't.
And you believe that's part of the con? I mean, that essentially what allowed him to go this long without being in trouble? Or
Well, I knew he was weird, and a lot of people with his weirdness would back away. I knew he was weird. I knew, like, the whole, what's it called, pansexual thing. That's a turnoff to me for even a friend, because I just think it's getting a little weird and kinky. But
is there a way to explain that for some people that don't know without getting into it too graphic? Is there
a pansexual? You mean? What? Yeah, so a pansexual is a little different than a bisexual because they're do anything. Like, they're do trannies, they're do he, she's, she, he's, chicks with dick.
Children, animals.
No, no, not on. Believe it or not, a pansexual.
That's what he was.
But the definition of a pansexual is human, but it doesn't matter what gender, what set, nothing.
okay? I got you.
Not animals. That was his own personal thing he did, and he never admitted that to me. I would have dropped him in 2 seconds if I knew I had a friend that did that. That's sick. It's all sick. The things with the baby. I mean, I don't even think you need to be a mother to understand how sick it is to do that to a baby. Like, you just have to be a human being. And what Elisa lacks is the empathy to say, I feel so bad for them victims. I was crying so bad that whole weekend. And like, Elisa acted like I was crazy. She started writing in her little Discord, about that. I was called her crying, and she didn't like it. And he was nice to her. And I'm like, oh my God, this chick is really sick. Something more is going on here with her being paid in money. I'm catching on to that, but I have no proof. But, you don't defend, like I said before, you don't defend someone so sick, so evil, unless there's more money being dropped on you to buy your silence. And
I'm sorry, but like, also,
yeah.
people do have actual, like, intellectual disabilities. And Elisa has admitted on stream that she's autistic.
Yeah. Well, you mean as far as her being able to feel emotions or empathy? I call that
and be able to handle a situation. I know for a fact that when this whole thing came out, a week after she had not spoken to a lawyer, that would be the first thing you would do if anybody around you would be associated with being one of the most prolific deviant criminals in the whole world.
Honest,
you would get a lawyer, but she doesn't have the faculty, and she has blocked people who actually care about her, who are her actual friends in real life, like me, and who she lies about and tries to get arrested.
You were around Elisa long enough to know and to realize she's not going to spend money if she doesn't have to.
No,
I know. That's why
for her to get a lawyer or even consult with one over
that's true.
Criminal.
No,
she would have to pay.
She said on stream. That's why I don't have a lawyer. I'm too cheap. But
right.
she
thinks nothing can touch her. She thinks that's her mental. She's untouchable. Nobody can hurt her. Nobody can touch her.
I'm not gonna.
In her mind, she
okay.
thinks
I'm not gonna say what the complete thing, but we're trying to look into that she has not shown up for a court summons.
She had a court summons?
We're not going to say anything further about it, but
okay, you'll tell me privately.
Supposedly she had a court summons, and she didn't show up to that because she has been trespassed from so many places, because people are pressing charges against her for walking around the street with
she's kicked out of every business
with the speaker that she's kicked out of her. She's trespassed from her. She has said she is trespassed from her local grocery store because of me. She's trespassed from all of Clematis Street.
I know she's banned from everywhere. I mean, she doesn't.
That's why she's driving to other places right now, and that places a little out of the way in the in the more hipster areas.
Well, she gets thrown out of most of the places she goes into, and then she gets banned from them and acts like a 12-year-old kid who doesn't understand. You can't come with all her camera equipment and music blasting, especially when it's disgusting things, and then there's customers who react and say, "Am I on film? Can you tell her to stop?"
I've watched a few of the streams where I've seen
Yeah,
that.
and it's obnoxious, and she's too old to be doing this. I mean, it's just an obnoxious way to live. But I mean, if the police or the FBI do contact her, she needs to be honest. And I mean, I know
since she didn't contact them, they're watching her. They're not going to contact her for.
Well, that's why I was going through.
They're giving her enough rope to hang herself.
Well, you also got to realize this.
Let everybody in KAF know that.
Right. Well, you also got to realize there's so much here to investigate. So much. They might not even be up to that part yet.
Oh, I'll tell you this on my experience.
Everything.
It's going to be based on just what I've read.
Yeah.
And just all the states that are, if this is an interstate type of deal, it's going to be a long investigation.
Long, very long.
She's talking about possibly getting evicted. If she gets evicted and goes home to mommy and and disappears off of live stream, we haven't addressed. I don't know if you've addressed the NJ. She's been kicked off IP too.
Yeah, I've not, but I am aware of that. I am aware.
Elisa Jordana is
generally
no
IP2
longer on
is going to
IP2.
kick people off that have anything to do with dealing with I mean, pretty much.
She's been trying. Okay, so after her first stream on Friday, at the end she doxed me completely.
Yeah.
The next day. I'm sorry, Dina. So the next day, she was banned from live streaming on her main channel, and then she committed another terms of service violation by ban evasion on her alternative Kermit and Friends channel.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. What she did to Jadis was so vengeful and hateful. Like, no hate towards Jimmy, but because Jadis spoke to someone along with a million other people that spoke to people and warned them,
And because I've been exposing this.
Yeah, she was going crazy. I'm going to get him. We're going to go to his neighborhood. She goes up to a random street cop and shows them his picture and says, "Can you go find him?"
I saw that video. Yeah.
Are you that dumb? First of all, you got to go to a courthouse to file something.
Right.
Like, she's so dumb.
I'll tell you this.
Well, and the camera was also on the whole time. And the way I am is, if it's that serious, you're gonna shut the camera off.
Right.
She muted the camera when she was giving them what she thought was my address, and I in the TTS in the power chat. She's doxing my mother, mother's first name, my one of my sister's first names. They've doxed my sister's address. They've doxed the address of my old house.
And then he threatened to go to Jadis's house and talk to his mother and do it live on the stream. Like, okay, you're not even half this angry at Jimmy, but because Jadis badmouthed you and said to someone, "Well, just be careful who you're getting involved with."
I didn't badmouth her.
Badmouth her.
I'm exposing this because I'm a high figure in this community. I care about this show. I care about the show more than I care about Elisa, but this is a community, and the community doesn't belong to Elisa. This community belongs to each and every one of us and anybody who knows about it. This is our community. the greater like YouTube community, the live streaming community, whether you're a desktop streamer or an IRL streamer, and it goes, deeper and deeper. And being in the KAF community, like the person who's supposed to be in charge of that does not speak out against this. So, who's going to speak out against it? The next most important person, for lack of a better term. I don't think I'm important, but I know that people know who I am, and since people know who I am, I have credibility. I think that was the worst thing for her to dox me, because now people realize that everything I'm saying is true.
Well, not only that, when she doxed you, her true evil soul came out. People in the chat were saying, "What the hell? She's going crazy right now."
Jadis,
like Jadis wins. Whatever that term is that you taught me the other day. But like, she was just going so psycho on you. And hold on, I'm good.
Bless you.
Thank you. Everyone was saying, like, wait a minute. How come you don't have any anger at Jimmy, but you're mad at Jadis and this person, and you're going to take them all down? And I'm like, I've never seen someone so immature, unstable, narcissistic. Like she even says, he told me he loved me, and he bought me things, and he treated me nice. And, I'm not happy it happened, but, it doesn't affect me. His victims don't affect me. What he did doesn't affect me.
Can I ask you a question kind of in reference to that? And I'm sorry, and again, I'm just trying to just absorb everything here like a sponge. But
yeah, it's okay.
When I had heard earlier that Elisa was sent the manifesto, copy of the manifesto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did she contact, and again, and I'm sorry if you addressed this, but did she contact the police when she received that?
No.
I can speak to that. She supposedly, and she has backed this up on her show. She supposedly, because she has an issue with reading more than 2 sentences.
Couldn't read it.
Elisa has a problem with reading more than 2 sentences. So
just you're saying, or like there's an actually physical disability she has.
Yeah, she admits to it.
Okay.
I sent you that text message. That was a text message from Instagram, and I read it out.
I'm reading it now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got you.
So that is the text message from Jimmy telling her the confession was coming out. And the confession came out, and it went to at least like 200 blind carbon copy people. I've heard that it went out to 500 people.
He turned himself into the police, not her.
Yeah, like he went to Burger King.
Burger King.
He went to Burger King. That's something that is a misinformation. He didn't have a car. He didn't have a car. He hasn't driven for years.
Right.
Since the since he went to rehab.
Oh no, years before that he wasn't driving. Years.
So you're saying he got dropped essentially at Walmart? He was dropped off.
He by an Uber, by a
okay.
Lyft, or some weird. He had a weird service. Even he had a weird service, and you could go back. And he mentions it. He mentions he has like an alternative service to Uber and
like a Z Trip. I've just heard that's another one of these weird.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
also very good with the bus system there. He was very good with the buses.
Yeah, but that's an area you could do. But suffice it to say, he went to the service desk. He called from the service desk of the Walmart that he committed a lewd act in front of children.
I was not aware of that. I thought it was from
2015. He went there symbolically to confess to a crime that he committed there years before. And if you read the police report, if you read the affidavit,
I remember, that the
affidavit
called in and said, I was surprised that they were even able to go back that far and find.
Yeah, they had it on file. They had the case number. They had the date, and you saw that.
He was very upset that he didn't get the credit for that crime. So when he went to Burger King and he walked over to the Walmart,
Talked a lot about Burger King on the show
yeah,
before.
Burger King's last meal, we all thought he was just starting a diet, but now in hindsight, we know what was really going on. But he went over to the Walmart, carrying on to the police when they arrived. The police had to take him outside because they're like, "Can you be
No,
quiet?"
they said NJ, if you could look, it says due to the senility.
I saw that. Yes, and I
Yes.
saw that. See, I couldn't read that whole word, so thank you for now pronouncing it for me.
People think
I
that
know
was
exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
People
I read
think that was a typo. It's not a typo because there are typos like the
high. I saw that. They actually did a retractment on
that. Goes along with the numerology. 2 feet. The police report, the original police report says 2 feet 11 inches, 211 pounds, and that's absurd, ridiculous. But that goes along with the numerology. But as a just a sidetrack, but the senility that
well, I'm interested in that because I actually so let me just kind of.
And it also says that his race is black.
Yes. So let me just tell you a little information. So when I was given those reports, I thought that was honestly my opinion was first when I saw that was somebody edited that, just as to fuck around.
No,
then when I went and pulled the information, I saw that it was redacted. They actually put in a motion to essentially clarify that was incorrect information. I have that actually. I don't have it right now to show, but I can.
You have the latter. You have the updated one.
Actually, let me. I actually have the updated one, but I actually have where it shows the courts actually had to update that. So
I had the original.
I realized that it wasn't a edited thing. It was essentially. And see, I thought it was a typo by the office.
There was a lot of typos towards the end, but the senility was not a type. People were trying to say that when they said, "Oh, due to his senility, we took him outside," as to referencing that he was talking, incoherently.
Now, so you're saying he gave him that height. That's why they just wrote it down, regardless them seeing, you're not 2 foot, whatever. He gave them, said that I'm black when they, and said, well,
no, I can't speak to why it says black. It's curious. It's also, you're taught in Florida schools, you could identify as anything you want. Just to let that be known, like back when I was in school, in middle school. But suffice it to say, that might just be a typo. The 2 feet, 11 inch, and 211 pounds is very weird, and goes along with the whole numerology obsession that he was into.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that.
I'll just leave it at that, and we could go back to the senility part was not a typo. There are other typos towards the end of the affidavit, but those are typos. But the senility was not a typo.
And I mean, just going back to the info I pulled, I can confirm that. I mean, I can't confirm, but he did. I mean, I have the paperwork where he's applying essentially for his, a public defender, because he's essentially claiming that he's has no money. So, going back to what Dina was saying, a lot of this is kind of starting to, check itself, just because obviously, I would expect he's not going to lie on his court paperwork. You can, but there was a lot of stuff that I pulled. I will be presenting that.
There's a lot of typos. There's a lot of
I noticed the difference between that. Yeah, no, they corrected it too. So there is 2 now different police reports, just with the typo, and then they corrected. And the only reason it was corrected is because they caught it, and the court is the one that changed that. I mean, it's in the actual court history, the notes, the docket notes. So
yeah, they need, because they need to follow this to a T, because he's giving everything up. If they don't follow it to a T, that's why people were speculating that that someone might go in, that was a dog whistle for someone to go in and rate and tamper with the storage unit, you understand, to compromise the crime scene.
Wow.
Yes.
You know,
well, that's kind of the reason why I'm heading over to Topeka, is because I'm curious. I want to know what was in that locker.
You're going there just to investigate that.
I'm going there for other reasons, but I'm going to Kansas, and I'm going to be stopping in Topeka now that it was brought to my attention that the storage locker was there.
The reason why it was picked up by Topeka, Kansas news outlets is because they finally did serve the search warrant for the.
Yeah, that's what I had figured. See, because when I was watching that, at first I assumed it was a Florida, and then when I heard them say, I was like, "Yep, that verifying." Obviously, and then they say it in the news report that obviously it sounds like they obviously raided the.
Day one. I confirmed
access the storage locker.
Day one, I
now NJ Courts. Whenever you request the information, and you receive information about the storage locker, could you please make sure to get the details? Like, was it a storage unit? Was it just?
I'm going to be bringing if it's a FOIA request, it's going to be whatever's on the police report.
Okay, yeah, because that's unclear. It's unclear whether it's just a little locker or whether it was like a 10 by 10 storage unit, or we don't know that really.
From what me and Dina have talked about, I don't think it was you'll get the square footage, hopefully, but to understand that he was transient, so he didn't need to store furniture. It was probably the size of a closet.
Well, I'm planning on going to this storage unit. As a matter of fact, I already know where it's at.
Exactly.
So if they allow me access, I mean, I'm going to try to ask, can I see this? Hey, can I see the storage? I'm going to try to find out which one it was. And I mean, like I said, I'm going to be trying to do as much as they will allow me. I'm going to do an investigation into this. If it's FOIA, it's FOIA. If it's me going to the damn storage locker unit and asking myself if they're willing to give information, it's going to be that.
I talked. Okay, so
it will be next week when I will be arriving there, and I will be doing the best of investigation.
When are you going?
I'm sorry, Dina.
When are you going?
So it's going to be so this Monday I'm going to be doing a court coverage. So it's going to be the following week. I will be heading towards that area, and why I will be stopping in Topeka.
So I could speak to the storage unit further. So I said on day one of the confession, I confirmed that it did belong to in their words, Jim Ward. I called later in the week, the Friday before the next Friday, and then
before the police got to it.
Yeah, I talked to the manager, and I asked them if the law enforcement had been there yet. And I spoke to the manager, and he confirmed to me like a week later that law enforcement hadn't got to it. So yeah, it makes sense that that news report coincides with them finally going there and serving the search warrant on the actual. But yeah, I've spoken to them several times, NJ. So they're you could, if you approach them in a civil way, they're very forthcoming.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Like I said, I've spoken to them personally twice to confirm it belonged to him and to see if law enforcement was there. So,
Well, and then everything also just coincides with the fact that when I called to the clerk in Florida, that the fact that they hadn't had set the next court date, because technically the DA has 21 days to press charges or file charges. Now, obviously, some people might think, oh man, are they not? No. It's the reason they have not yet is because of this type of case. So I understood that very well as to why the new court date has not been set. Now, he has gone through an arraignment. That has already been done. But as far as the next court date set for that individual has not been set because the charges have not been brought on, which makes sense because this is going to be a very extensive case. So they are going to have to file charges very soon because they have to do it within the 21 days. But obviously, it's just not going to stay in Florida. It's obvious now.
Mr. Courtman, I don't know what your name is. Do I call you?
I like that, Mr. Courtman. That's perfect.
Mr. Courtman.
I like that.
I don't know.
You should make T-shirts.
Two quick questions for you because you obviously know the law. Are you a lawyer or just?
I am not a lawyer. I come from a background of a family of lawyers and judges. That's where I get my street education.
More knowledge about this, obviously, and investigating it. I have a question. I'm curious because the victims were too young to talk or remember or animals and stuff. If he's only confessing to it, but it can never be proved, how does that work? Like, can they charge him for that because he admits it only? Because there won't be proof.
Right. That's a very good question, Dina. I mean, you also got to keep in mind that this has been going on since 1970 is what I had read. And there's I forget if I say it wrong, but there's 79. There's also some statute of limitation. I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, but there's an article. There's an article. I think it was one of the first articles. It might have been from TC Palm, which he mentioned in the manifesto that he would call them as far back as I'm not sure the date, maybe 2021, asking about general statute of limitation laws. And
that's going to come into play.
He was emailing Stewart Police asking about statutes of limitation. You remember me referencing that, Dina?
Yes. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that occurs. That occurs, I believe, in an article. So
and that's something to keep in mind. But Dina, I will tell you this: depending, I mean, the crimes vary. I mean, this is going to be. It's just crazy because there are just so many different types of crimes, and they have to literally be able to charge that individual with every single one specifically.
Yeah.
Depending on the crime, because of his confession, yes. And again, I will look into this for you. But based on my experience and what I know, depending on the crime, they don't have to have a victim. You know what I mean? It can be a confession. Again, it's going to depend, though, also on how the prosecutors, the DA is going to want it. Because remember, we've got to take this in front of a jury, in front of a judge, depending on which state. And depending on how much evidence they have, if that victim's going to be available, they might not even pursue that charge. So it just varies, on the evidence they have, the statement they have, whether it's a statute of limitation. And again, this has gone different interstate now. So there's different laws that apply to all the different states. That's why I have a feeling that the feds, if they're not already been involved, they're going to be, because just of obviously the type of crime, the seriousness, and just it being interstate. But yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At least the fact that he had the CP on him and the storage locker has it, not only generic CP, but of him doing things.
That's enough for possession right there. You know what I mean?
Would carry a serious, hopefully never get out of jail, don't you think?
Just the two pieces that he had.
Right. Is that enough, you think?
Yeah. The possession is a felony. What I mean? So
if he had nothing else but went in and said, "Oh, look at these things on my phone," he's going to be in jail for 20
So based
years.
on what I read and what the detectives were able to see off that laptop, and I'm not going to get into it, he's in trouble. That's all you got to do right there.
Now,
they don't have to even contact those people in the pictures or anything at that point. That's enough right there to constitute what they're charging him with.
Let me speak to a point. There are databases of those child sexualization victims. There's databases, and they check and they can track, and they try to find out who they were, who they are, because with facial recognition.
Well, also, luckily for the law and the victims, he not only just possessed regular CP, he filmed himself doing acts in front of them and children. So that would definitely have your
mini DV tapes.
Yeah. I just want to make sure he never gets out and never hurts another innocent victim again. That's all I pray for.
Me too. My personal opinion, absolutely, and I apologize for my language, but I try not to put personal opinions in this, but I do. That my channel is not like a lot of other court channels or news channels, and I will eventually. Sometimes I put my opinion, and absolutely, I agree 100% with what you're saying. So.
I don't know if you knew it or not, but the Steel Toe Morning Show had also covered this multiple times on their show, and the reason that they were so into covering it was, I guess, last year, a 14-year-old kid who was a follower of Elisa and her Kermit and Friends and was a member of the Discord, sent the SW team to, I guess, to his home, and he got busted. They were able to track it all down, and he admitted to them that they told it on the show that he admitted to them that that he was a follower of Elisa Jordana and that he watched her shows on Kermit and Friends, and he also had possession. And Elisa, from what they were saying, was defending that kid, saying, "Oh, he's just a kid. They shouldn't prosecute him." That this is all on the Steel Toe Morning Show where he was.
I saw that. She has an excuse to defend all of them. It's something
right, and I saw their tweet, and I jumped right on it and started sharing everything that they needed.
Before that was out, me and Gina were watching that.
Yeah.
Me and Gina were watching that, and I said, "Close." We were watching an old clip of them talking about her with another ex of Benji, but And I said, and I said, listen, I said, close your eyes, and what they're saying about her, it could be today because it was so on point. And then at that point, I said, I realized, let me contact them and tell them about this.
Right. My point is, Elisa's not out of the water with this, because not only Jimmy, who knows how many people have been following her for years in her Kermit and Friends and in her Discord. Like, from what I hear, there's been a lot of that going around behind her.
Yeah,
and
like,
she knows.
There are people pretending to be me. There are people pretending to be my sister, my mother. Like,
yes,
my what they think are my addresses have been released. It's been clipped like time after time, and they don't censor it, but it's okay. Like, because if I have to be the fucking sacrificial lamb for this, because I'm trying to expose what is surrounding this, then so be it, But at this point, it backfired in her face for trying to dox me, because you know what? Everybody sees completely through it, and they know who I am. Maybe you could lie to the cops and lie to the, that's why they're totally sick of you in your whole like neighborhood, and the cops are sick of you filing false police reports. But you're not gonna keep doing this and keep lying upon people's names, because you put it all out there yourself.
Hopefully, Your Honor, MJ Courts, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Yes.
Well,
what's up?
Hopefully, Diana is well prepared when she goes to court to expose to the court and to the judge how all of this stuff that has happened with her has been scripted by Elisa. Elisa set everything up. Elisa would ask her to come meet her, just knowing that,
you're talking about
Diana would explode and blow up. Hold on, Jason. Hold on, please, Jadis, please. Knowing that Diana would explode and it would create a mass of TTS donations, and she did it over and over again. So that's abuse of the court system. That's abuse of 911 calls, and that's using the police and the court system to create content.
That's disgusting. I mean,
and I can speak to that. Just to let everybody know, I'm gonna release more information as to the specifics, but the Elisa has a court date on Monday, 9/11/2023, to take the temporary restraining order on Diana to try to make it into a permanent restraining order against Diana. So this is happening on 9/11/2023, this coming Monday. And I suppose the courthouse, the Palm Beach courthouse, I'm gonna get more information about it. It would be cool if people could show up and, protest her and,
hey, if somebody sends me a ticket to Florida, I'll be there.
Hey, Dina, I have a question for you from chat, if that's okay. This came in as a donation, and I know we kind of hit on this a bit, but I'm just going to repeat the question. And I have a question for Dina, no interruption, because I do a bunch of crazy shit when I get a donation, so we're not going to do that tonight. When Elisa sent you the email, did you go to the police? If not, why? And I had already asked you that, and you had answered that.
Yeah.
They followed up with another question. Did Elisa say she read it and how much? And I don't know if anybody else can answer that or if you may know, but did she, and I guess they're referring to, her chat, her viewers, the community or current friends community. Did she ever read any of it or talk about it? I know she kind of ignored it through chat, but in her community, her Discord, did she ever address anything, say anything?
She claims till this day to have only read the first page. Claims she's never read it.
She says she read 2 words of it.
Yeah, couldn't get through the first page. And it's like, I get the part where you got to take a break from it, because I got that far and was sick and my head was spinning, but I got back to it later that day, and little by little I did finish it within a day or two. I mean, emotionally, when you're close to the situation, it's hard, but she claims she's never got past hardly any of it. She never read
that
anything.
made through her chat? And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Was that statement made through her chat that she claims?
Yeah, she says it live on her stream.
Oh, on live. Okay, thank you.
Live on her stream, she says, "Oh, I read 2 words of it, and I didn't read it."
On that note, Mr. Courtman, she claims that we are all, everyone around her is sick because they're talking about it and reading it. And why would someone want to read that? She says on her chat, it's like Christmas for you all. You're just so happy to read it. It's like Christmas. And it's like, no, bitch, you made the Christmas bonus out of it all.
Elisa just hopes that everybody would just forget about it immediately and continue donating to her, because that's her business, and her lifestyle relies on those donations. Her lifestyle relies on her manipulating naive people around her to go around and blast the TTS and hateful media and stuff, through the keyboard warriors that are at home who would never in a million years go out in public and say or play the same stuff that they donate to play on streamer speakers. They would be scared to death.
Yeah. No, she's got a few people under her spell, and whenever the subject comes up, they give her money and donate long songs to distract. But she is calling everyone else crazy for, like, what are you all sick? You all talk about it. You all, like, she knows about shows like this or Grady George or other ones. That's just disgusting. It's like you're all happy. It's like it's Christmas. It's like, what, you just talk so dumb. Like, you're just so unaffected by it. And, people are talking about it because, people are affected by it. I mean, even
I
people.
think that's what shocks people is her reaction to it, because
Yes.
everybody else's reaction to it, And it's just,
Yeah.
I had the same reaction you did. And I've talked to people that have read that manifesto and have the same reaction, where they could only get through a page, take a break, and had to read the rest because it was so disgusting. And that's what happened to me. I haven't even finished the whole thing because
It's normal to feel that way. It's normal. And she doesn't get it, how normal people react, and they might cry, and it's just like, it doesn't affect me. He was nice to me. It's like a mental illness, just like depression, like I have. Well, let me tell you something. I have that and a few other things go on, but that doesn't mean that I'm compared to somebody who's a murderer or torturer of animals, a pedophile, a child rapist. Like, her mental illness, which she really severely has, but I mean, that doesn't compare to, well, I have depression. He rapes children and animals. It's all the same. It's not the same. It's nothing the same. There's no comparison, and she's too immature and stupid to realize that, having some depression does not mean that, oh, well, it's okay what he did. I'm not going to say anything bad because, I have depression. Like, her logic is just, no, I've never heard anything as insane as her defending him. Never, ever, ever.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's strange, and I think that's why a lot of people are obviously wanting an answer, and are still, looking at her and saying, well, I mean, geez, you just moved on from this that quick. And me personally, just based on my experience, I think she's going to be having a few interviews here pretty soon, whether she likes it or not.
Yeah.
So she's probably going to have to, at some point, whether she likes it or not, like I said, she's going to have to talk. So
and yeah, she wants
leave it at that, I guess.
And pretend this up. I'm prepared for a call if I get one, because I have nothing to hide. And I was looking over recently my last text on my texts with him the past few weeks, and there were not real nice ones before it got, and they're going to dissect his phone, and I have nothing to hide, and I don't care. Like, I'm not. People like assholes like will say, "Well, Dina, how did you not know? You knew him longer. Elisa didn't." And I'm like, "Okay, that doesn't matter, because as soon as I found out, boom, I said, fuck that asshole. He's a creep.
Well, look how long it took him to finally get in trouble, and it was on his own admission. So obviously, like you said before,
yeah,
I hate to even give him that credit, but obviously the man is intelligent about what he's doing, because he's been able to do it this long and not get in trouble with it, with all the victims that possibly have come out of this. So, and that kind of brings me to one last question, I think, Dina, that I have is, and I'm sorry, I kind of almost just spaced out on it. Hold on, give me 1 second.
It's
just so,
I get so overwhelmed with all that.
Oh man, and it was something that me personally, I really wanted to ask. So
it'll come to you.
No, it will. Let's see. So with Jimmy, it was your relationship. You guys with that. Oh,
yeah.
I guess let's see here. Well, I'll just remember it. It was something to do with, just a personal question with you, and if I remember, I'm sure I can find out a way to get a hold of you to ask you that. But
yeah, you email me or something. Maybe I'm not good at this stuff, but Jadis, you can give him my email.
So if something we could bring up with the chat or is any questions that we could clarify as to rumors that have been going on, because between me, James, Worley, and Dina, we could clarify.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you being, coming up here on the panel and answering questions. So anybody in chat has any and you want to direct to them, just at them, and I will try to read it my best to them. One of them we already got. It was, like I said, as a donation, and that was the question I asked earlier. But of course, you don't need to donate to ask questions. Question. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just going to answer because it isn't bad, but it's a question. Is it true Elisa smells bad?
Yes. I didn't want to say it. No. And I was told this. I'm not going to be a mean person because she's tried to make fun of me and say, oh, Jada smells bad, but then she also says her nose doesn't work after 4 nose jobs. But the guy who she doxed me because somebody supposedly told me that because he looked me up and figured out my name because they trolled him and just said my name to him, and I wasn't actually the one to call him. And suffice it to say, he said I was talking to him, and he just said, I don't, what was up with, like, she just smelled really bad. And it's a sad thing to hear. It's a sad thing to hear, actually, because I realized, like, she probably has been just sitting there all week in her house getting DoorDash and looking at Discord and
And actually, I had my question too, actually, I want to ask you before I forget. Dina,
yeah,
because you knew Jimmy as long as you did, what your guys' friendship. And if you can't answer this, that's fine. What do you think? I mean, and I've heard a few. I've kind of heard a few things from chat and other people. But what do you think caused Jimmy to finally, after all this time, essentially, I guess, confess to all this, his come to Jesus moment, as the chief of police says, in the one interview.
100%. He wanted his 15 minutes of fame. He could have went on the rest of his life with a not normal, but a happy life of working and being with Elise or whatever the hell he wanted to do. He wasn't getting caught, nothing. He wanted to do this. He had meticulously planned it. He was dropping hints. He wanted to get caught. He wants to be infamous. He thinks he's going to get, maybe movies or books over it. He wanted the attention. That's all it was about. No one was on to him at all. He just, he's
and he loved dropping little clues everywhere.
Yeah.
And he talks about, the 150 hours we had. Okay, I will send you another screenshot. NJ, but
I think I've seen that. Send it over, but I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to send another one. The screenshot I will send you. I will read it. I will find it and I will read it. But we go on for a second.
And thank you, Dina. No, go ahead. I'm trying to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for interrupting you, Dina.
Like, wait a minute. I turned myself in. Now I live in a tiny cell. Like, why did I do that? But I'm so glad he did. And finally, I wish it had been sooner, but at least there'll be no more victims.
Sure. And thank you for answering that. And I'll say this: a lot of people that have contact me have kind of hit on a lot of things you said, as to why.
Right.
And a lot of it was, like you just said, was that kind of narcissistic part of somebody who was just wanting that little bit of fame. As sick as it sounds, I think a lot of people, obviously aren't going to be able to relate with this individual.
He also got off on making people sick by his crimes. He loves that attention. Like, there was one thing manifesto about. He used the word raping someone's nostrils, their nose.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So this is something getting off right now that he got us all. Haha. Guess what? Look, I'm really a monster.
I can see that. No, damn.
You all thought I was nice. Haha.
Jimmy the Christian. Who would have known, right?
Oh,
I mean, yeah. That I can. Godly. That's a lot to just absorb because you don't meet people like this. I mean, this is.
What are the statistically of having someone like that in your life? Like, Like it's so embarrassing. I'm like, wow, like I've been a bad judge of character with some boyfriends before, but nothing like this with, a friend like who was a guy. Like it's almost like this didn't happen. Like this is like I'm gonna wake up and be like, "Whoa, that was a weird nightmare." you know.
You read the manifesto and you think that. You really think it's a script of some nasty ass crazy book or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I can
Yeah.
totally I understand what you mean with that. Oh, yeah. It is. It literally is nothing I've ever
Oh, God.
Okay.
come
Okay.
close to witnessing anything like this.
I know.
Can I okay, let me read something for you guys. Okay, so this is, and just to go to show you, she's doubling down on all of this. Okay, so you could look on YouTube for the episode called Elisa Jordana IRL FT Jimmy AND and Jody JODI. This is 2 weeks ago. Now it has 996 views, which Jimmy would love that. The pinned comment. This is the pinned comment from 12 days ago. Holy fuck. Like, why did she pin this?
What
Like,
is
oh my God. Like, I knew about this post. Okay, so this post is from 12 days ago. This post would have occurred either the day before or the day of
yeah, what
Jimmy
day?
being arrested.
Yeah.
And Elisa pinned it, and it's from Jimmy's the 111 experience account. So proud of this amazing 10.5 hour masterpiece.
I have them.
Elisa, no matter what's happened in the past and no matter what happens next, we were great together. I'll always love you, and I'll always cherish the time I'll always cherish the time with you and the 150 plus hours of next level IRL content we created together! Exclamation mark.
She pinned
I
that?
I had the best time of my entire life.
That's what he always says.
I had the best time of my entire life of repeating my
Wow.
sentence.
Yeah,
Keep
I seen that.
keep
I've
the
seen
faith.
that. I
Keep the
was
faith,
that.
old friend. 3 green hearts, and that was pinned, and that was posted the day, pretty much the day he confessed.
And for
there's
some of those that don't understand, the only person that can pin that is the channel creator,
yes,
or I guess a managing mod now, possibly.
Okay,
I'm not
so-
sure, but
okay. So NJ, did you see anything in the confession about Amanda
Ruthie.
no, I know. Mm-mm.
So there's a voice chat. There was like a controversy going into the day before the day before he was supposed to turn himself in. There was supposed to be like a secret guest to come in.
Yeah, he made up
On Elisa's show, you're saying?
Yes, on Elisa Jordana's live
stream.
And this person and the day before that, a voice chat was released. I'll send it to you so you can see it for later on. But if you could reference that, name in the manifesto, I will simply read it for what it is. It's not anything graphic. Just to let you know.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not, that's fine. I'm cool with
Yeah,
that.
but just for referential purposes. So let me see. There, yeah, Amanda. There's only one reference to Amanda. Where is it at? Where'd you put it? Okay, here it is. Okay, so let me read. There's a section of the confession, or what they're calling the manifesto, called the Coda. The Coda, CODA. I'll read it in full because it's not very long. It's like 3
And
sentences.
it doesn't have any explicit part because
Yes, I understand.
You got it.
Okay, the Coda. 8/12/2023, 5:42 a.m. So this would have been the day that Elisa was live streaming with Lala going to meet Stuttering John, which Jimmy would have loved to be at, which he's probably at the end of his rope at that point, because he would have loved to try to meet Stuttering John, because he's a Howard Stern fan.
Oh, okay.
Suffice it to say, on that day where you could cross-reference Lala and Elisa going to Stuttering John, it's very hard to decide where to turn myself into the FBI. The FBI office in West Palm Beach or the Stewart PD in Stewart. I've got 2 weeks to figure it out. In the meantime, I'm dropping hints everywhere. Wow, this is so much fun! ! Then he puts in a Twitter from, I guess, a day ago, according to this screenshot. It says, everything has transpired, has done so according to design. And then he puts this long thing. I'm not going to read that. And then 8/24/2023, 7:23 p.m. I definitely decided to turn myself into Stewart, Florida Walmart after I have had my quote-unquote last meal at the nearby Burger King. August 25th, 2023, 5:23 a.m. Dropping hints left and right. Amanda Ruthie Harkness. Look up on YouTube Amanda Ruthie Jim Ward, and you'll find a voice chat from Kerman and Friends Discord. Dropping hints left and right. Amanda Ruthie Harkness, the Muse, has been activated. OMG, which was the name of the file that he had the officers click. OMG, this is so much fun! ! For my private Facebook network, she, Amanda Harkness, died in a head-on car crash. For Elisa and Kerman and Friends, she has got pulled in this morning explaining how she knows me. She made a TikTok video dancing to F you, I'm fine. In parentheses, a fine tune by Elisa Jordana. And wow, her tits are way bigger than I remember them being. It was a sexy video. It made me think I want to F her the S out of, yeah.
I get it.
So if anybody wants to look up Jim Ward-Nichols and Amanda Ruthie, and to make more sense of what that was about. So he had told that woman exposed him a couple days before he was even arrested, and he exposed himself, in video in every episode of Elisa's show.
All right. Well, I will definitely look into that because that's a little new to me. So,
do you have anything to say about that, James?
No, not really. Now I know that from what I understood, I don't know if this is true or not, that there were two different Amandas, right? One died.
Yes, what the one the that was not that's a warped thing to where I guess he wanted to get sympathy from the people he talked to on Facebook because he lived many different lives.
See, from what I understood,
and he lived very many lives.
From what I understood, that Amanda died in a car crash, and then he tracked down an Amanda that had the same name and went to that city to purposely meet her and befriend her because of the same name.
Yes, or vice versa. To where like he like tried to distance himself from a person, but yes, there is a weird. There are two different Amanda Harknesses, and the one who was talking on Discord was the one who was supposed to come in on the day before he turned himself in, and there is a Kermit and Friends Discord voice chat about it, and I will forward it to all of you if you haven't seen it.
I haven't, so I would appreciate that.
Or you don't have to. You just listen to it.
And we did just get a PayPal donation, so I do want to acknowledge that. I'm going to keep this person anonymous because I don't know if they did want to have their name said, but they also agreed with you. And again, I'm sorry, I probably would have read this earlier, but I guess this had to do with your reference to Elisa's smell or body odor. But they said, yes, she stinks, smells like a curry, and I can't read the rest because I don't see it. Oh, wait. Yes, she stinks, smells like a curry diaper. I did one interview with her before running for the hills. So it sounds probably like it was somebody that obviously personally met her. But I guess they agree with your statement that, yes, she does stink. And I guess they said she smelled like a curry diaper.
It's not like it's not a terrible thing.
Again, I just that's the way their chat rolls, when they do the donation. So I'm just, reading it out. So yes, Ocean's daughter. Unless you didn't hear earlier, yes. Jadis confirmed that she does have a bit of a body odor. I guess we'll just leave it at that.
So, if you might want to play a video of like commentary, this is going around internationally. I could send you a YouTube video. It's very short, and it's really good. I've never known about this clipper. He's out of England, and I'd like to.
When I sent you, yeah.
Actually, Dina told me about him, and I found it organically, and I said, "Is this the guy you're talking about?" But just to get perspective, that this is not only okay. So this story has broke in Topeka, Kansas. Today it broke in Denver. In Colorado, in the Boulder area. It broke in Kansas public radio, and and they're talking about it. People are talking about it in other countries. So hold on one.
Yeah, the guy from England, I saw it a few days ago, and I guess he's part of the, this is all new to me, but the streaming or the IRL community, and
IP2.
Yeah, and he was.
IP2 always wins, Elisa.
So you're saying this guy's an IP2 streamer? What's his name?
I don't know. He's an IP2 clipper. It's
Clipper. Gotcha.
Gradder's
IP2 clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got your.
Shout out to you, bruv.
What is going on? Okay, I think I actually watched this. This was sent to me earlier.
Yeah, this is a very good, and he shows very esoteric clips that nobody else has clipped before.
All right, it's a 3-minute clip. I don't mind showing that.
Yeah, just
You just
Yeah,
get it
because-
pulled up. Just give me a second
because
while I do
people
that.
people who watch you, I could understand, and just are like IP2 streamers, may have not come into knowing what Elisa is about, and it's best to show her in her own words. Shout out to Elisa.lol. Go to your web browser and type in ELISA.LOL. Represent. Like, that is a directory of all of the most embarrassing self-exposing clips that she puts out about herself. And
And also, if Jade just doesn't mention
that, give me 1 second.
if you go to kick.com/Elisa Jordana, that channel was registered by somebody a few months ago, secured, and that's the reason Elisa said she would never go to Kick, because she couldn't get that channel. She was angry because somebody took it. Well, that channel is currently now live streaming with some of the best clips that expose Elisa's ridiculousness.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
I'm gonna get this pulled up now. Give me a second here. All right.
so shout out, go to Elisa.lol. Lisa.lol always wins. IP2 always wins. Elisa, like, you try to flex like you are a part of that, like you're not. Shout out to Lala. We love her. Like, she's protected. Like, we're all protected. But
I don't know. She didn't know that he was a bad man, but
Here we
Elisa's
go.
been a bad person, and she's harbored CP people in her Discord.
Why? Well, for one thing, I got terminated from my other job for doing this. I got terminated. I was let go. I was asked to leave. Please leave the building. After the termination meeting, I basically had to leave the building on campus. I worked at University of Colorado, in case anybody missed the memo. I worked at University of Colorado. I had a great run there. Did a lot of great things for them. And then, I got in some trouble for doing this. For why? Because at the University of Colorado, Jay Carter, we sign a code of conduct that says you're going to be an ambassador of the university, whether you're in Timbuktu. I did not have sex with a horse, but when I was a little kid on a family friend's farm, I fist up a cow's butt when I was a little kid.
This poor excuse of a human being has been making the rounds recently in the IRL world for distributing and acquiring CP. He's mostly known in the IRL world for being Elisa Jordana's assistant, which is quite fitting since they're both pick-me type of people, but they have nothing to offer, no charisma, no energy. Oh, look at me, I got a microphone, I can sing. Well, guess what? So can half the population. Doesn't mean you have to do it, love. And this guy is more of a nutcase than a World War II scientist back in the day. I mean, the stuff that he's spoken about, and he's done this before. He used to be a teacher at a college in America where he got fired for the exact same thing. Way! We found CP on his computer while he was teaching. Way! With that, there's also this list. He wrote a manifesto that he sent out to all news agencies, and including Elisa Jordana, which these manifestos included people that he's game-ended, animals that he's done sexual things to. I mean, this manifesto is one of the worst things you can read if you could get your hands on. I can't show it on YouTube because it breaks TOS, sorry. Most likely all the news networks and everyone who he sent these self-confessions out to has received it now. Elisa Jordana's YouTube today, the main account has been banned. But that's not good enough, people. She still has a backup. And she's still live on there. I mean, if if we're allowing these type of people on the platform, then
Her doxing me.
Jesus Christ, Lord help us. The video comes to an end. I just have one question for the IP2 viewer base. Now that this bald back fuck has been exposed, who's next? Who is next on the long list of IRL streamers that have done shady stuff that is going to get exposed? Hope you enjoyed the vid. Drop a like and subscribe if you have. And don't forget, IP2 always wins. Peace out.
So I have another video, if I could show you. We could talk about that.
What is it about?
A clip of Elisa, but yeah, if we have any reaction to that, as far as like, yeah, this is getting around to the greater the world is seeing this, even
Right.
though
No, I mean it's I think honestly by next week it's going to be breaking national news.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion. I did post up the link because there was a request that somebody else wanted to come up or had some questions.
Yes.
I'll just let that stick up for a few minutes. Other than that, if nobody wants to else come up, if everybody else kind of just wants to say anything else or kind of just I'm kind of just going to start wrapping everything up unless you have anything else you want to hit on or discuss or, I'm just going to leave that to you guys at this point. I have a few things that I'm going to finish up my show with, but before I just end the panel, I do want to, see if anybody else has anything else to say.
I sent you a video. If you
Can you get it here?
Yeah.
Let me look at it really quick.
So this is it's not anything graphic, but
no, I'm sure if it's on YouTube, it couldn't. I just want to make sure I can just see what it is you sent before I post anything on there, just so I know. So it's I think this is
it's from Elisa.l.
Okay, hold on. Maybe this is I think I clicked on the wrong one. I think it's the one we just watched. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me just.
I can stay with you guys. You lost the live stream. But some people are asking me.
Yeah, I'll probably just post that later. I'm pretty much through with the Lisa, and again, no offense to anybody else that's want to talk about it, but again, tonight's focus was Jimmy, and I think we've talked a lot about obviously the connection with the Lisa, but that's another story to get into. I mean, if you want to talk about what you send over, you're more than welcome to. But
it was if you go to everybody could go to elisa.lol on your web browser, and you'll find the most incriminating documentation that Elisa Jordana puts out herself and shows who she actually is. And this video that I was going to send you involves an underage person. Let's just say, leave it at that.
And that's kind of why I just don't want to, put it up on my stuff. If anybody wants to check it out on that link, they're more than welcome to. So, anything else? Otherwise, I want to say thank you to everybody in the panel. I think we learned a lot. I'll tell you that. I mean, almost at this point where I just seem to be able to just compensate some of this and just start putting some thoughts together.
Process it.
Exactly.
There's a for between the three of us that there's a lot of processing. Me and Gina talked. We talked for 6 hours on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's this is obvious. This is not even going to be the last. Like I said, we're going to continue this investigation. It's not even near done. I mean, not even close to. So, I mean, I could imagine if you guys are going to want to come up again as guests, you're more than welcome to. But
yeah, I think
we are going to definitely have some more panels about this situation. I can assure you that.
I think a big reason why it took so long for this story to get out was because Florida was under this big hurricane watch.
And
the weather was superseding everything else.
Jadis, and thank you, James. Jadis, did you have something to say?
I'm sorry. I was gonna say check out James Worley's hurricane coverage.
Yeah, no, shout your guys' stuff out. If you guys got channels, by all means, please. So, Worley, if you want to shout your stuff out, I know at the beginning you did a little bit. Jarvis, sorry, I always wanted to put an R, and people corrected me, so I apologize.
I'm Janice on everything. You know, you could add me. I have my own channel. I do IRL. I didn't graduate from the IRL Academy. I was the dean before Jimmy was. So let's just get everything straight. And it's not about us. Like, we want to
send me that. Hold on, I'm gonna post that link here for that site you were on, because it is a good site. So I want people to go check it out. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw people in chat. We're trying to post. I'll post the right one here for everybody.
But for everybody to understand, like, this isn't about like any of us. Like, we don't want to have to talk about this. Like we wish we were talking about better things. I wish things were back to the good old days, the classic crew, when there wasn't just Tommy Nontent there. That we had a whole crew of people who wanted to be involved, and it was a great thing, and it was lightning in a bottle. And it's just people's, whatever their issues are, they it gets in the way, and it's sad to what it's gotten to. And it's I'll quote shout out to Connor aka Prayers. Like, I don't hate Elisa. I don't I'm not gonna quote that, but I like the show. I like the show, but I love the show, but I don't like the way that Elisa has reacted to this controversy. She's acted upon it in a very wrong way, and she's doubled down by trying to dox me, and it's blown up in her face.
Dina, well, thank you. Dude, I don't know why I keep putting in art. Can you pronounce it for me one more time so I don't?
Thank you.
Jadis Mercado.
Jadis. It's Jadis. Excuse me. So Jadis,
You can call me Jay.
I don't know where. Honestly, the reason I'm getting that is I think that was sent to me like that, and I just got used to that. And then it was actually corrected to me today that I was pronouncing it wrong. So I apologize.
And then you could watch all the videos of me being doxxed and how Alicia says what she thinks my legal name is. So
Jadis.
I think that would be cool. I think that would be cool for you to actually. I will let you pull my record, and you could tell everybody my record, because Elisa has lied, and she says on a lot of streams, I have evidence that she says, oh, he's a criminal, he has such a rap sheet. You know what? I'll let you tell everybody what my criminal record is.
You know what, Jadis? Honestly, you know what? I don't need to do that. I mean, you came up here, you're a guest. I don't need to, that's the thing I've learned with this channel is we got a lot of people that ask questions, but unless it's got something to pertain to what we're looking at, what do I care about your criminal history, right?
There's no warrant. It's been proven there's no warrant on me because she's just trying to file a false police.
Now, if you got a court date coming up, you bet your ass I'm going to be there. So just letting you know. Because I warned people on this panel and they laughed. And then 2 months later, they want to kill me because I'm at their court hearing. So
just to let everybody know, there's a court date coming up in West Palm Beach on this coming Monday, 9/11/2023, Elisa versus Diana. And if we could have people out there, legally on public property, expressing themselves in whatever way they want to do, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for all your input today. Jadis, I appreciate you reaching out, and same thing with
appreciate your work.
I was plastered with a lot of information. So if I don't have a lot of questions, or I may seem like I don't understand, just give me a day to comprehend it, and I may come back and ask you some more. But I got the gist of it, and I appreciate you guys coming up here and explaining a lot.
I see you. I see you have a lot on your plate, brother, and you're doing God's work, and you're doing the public's work, and you're a great servant to the community. And I see
I
that.
want to agree with that. Thank you for everything you're doing and justice for the victims.
Thank you, Dina, and thank you
Thank you
guys
for what
again.
you're
Dina,
doing.
did you have something to end the night with? Did you want to speak on something?
I don't. Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
Justice for the victims.
Justice for the victims. Elisa Jordana knew. Hashtag Elisa.lol. Submit kick.com/Elisa Jordana to IB2.
Please.
IP2 always wins, Elisa.
All right. Then we will conclude our tonight's panel. So I want to say thank you to our guest tonight. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because when we start getting into these subjects, I know it's hard to come up and discuss this. So I really appreciate that. And I want to say that we've learned a lot from tonight's panel. Me personally, and just by reading with chat and a lot of the messages I'm getting right now through the DMs, I can tell you that we've got a lot of information now that we were not aware of. And we will be going further with this. Like I said, the investigation is going to go further. Yes, ma'am.
Malice Gang always wins. Malice Gang always wins.
Well, shit, I'm going to just shout out. If everybody's shouting out always wins, I guess I got to shout out my buddy Stick. Stick always wins. All right. Dina, did you have something to say before we end? I'm sorry. I thought I had cut you off. So.
Oh, no, you didn't. I just, I laughed. I know I wasn't trying to talk.
And I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't put you on the spot. Mr. Worley, we out? All right.
Yeah, so I just want to. I want to say thank you for doing this. Thank you for following up on the information, and remember that that this whole story goes much further than James Leonard Ward-Nichols.
Yes.
You know, the media, the mainstream media, is just going to cover him. They're not. I don't think that they're going to go deeper and see his involvement with Elisa, his involvement with her fake IRL Queen Academy. You know, they're lazy. They're gonna report on what's in front of their face.
Sure.
Not go deeper. And this is where the internet, and this is where people like you, and this is where shows like the Steel Toe show and you know are gonna shine, because they're gonna look at where it all connects the dots.
Sorry, Jadis.
And the activist community, people who are activists against, you know, protecting children and, you know, protecting the homeless and the mentally ill, because these are a lot of the victims.
And if you haven't seen the movie The Sound of Freedom yet, go see it. You can see it free. You can get free tickets. And remember, hashtag Sound of Freedom, hashtag Save the Children.
Hey, right on, James.
Hashtag Elisa Jordana knew.
All right.
Jordana knew.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you again for coming up. I'm going to just finish up the show here, so we're not done. We're just going to be wrapping up the panel now. So there you have it. I want you all to say thank you to our guest. I personally am very thankful for everybody that came up today. And I want to say thank you personally to everybody. So where do we go next? Right? Where do we go next? Well, I'll tell you. Let me give you a little itinerary. Okay. So Monday, that's the next time you're going to see me. This is it. I'm going to say goodbye to you all tonight. Then the next time you'll see NJ Courts will be Monday, September the 11th, as I will provide live court coverage. Destination TBA. Hey, is that how? No, TBD. Excuse me. It's been a long night. Till then, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. I don't know if I should give you my little surprise tonight. Try to think. Nah, I'll let you guys know on Monday. Stay tuned. Love you guys. Take care. And as always, NJ Courts is officially, earbud notice, out! And thank you to all my mods. Thank you to all my members of the jury. Thank you to all donators. And thank you to all the viewers tonight. And most importantly, thank you to our guests that came up tonight. You all have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Take care, y'all.